Greetings, new hammer, middle hammer, and old hammer folks alike. I am OldGrumpyWolf, aka Lennon Midnight, and welcome to the Minibar Podcast. I'll be serving you up lots of awesome painting nerdiness from talking to painters from around the web. And tonight at the bar, we have a dude that I have admired since I got back into painting. Big inspiration and just an absolutely amazing painter. SteveKMinis, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey mate, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
glad to be here.
It's actually an honor to have you on because you're one of the guys that I first discovered when I got back into all this stuff, aka cult. But no, you're one of the first guys I discovered, and you and I started talking really early on. So you're one of the people that I've kept in mind since I set this whole podcast thing up. So it's a total honor to have you on.
Oh, that's great. Thanks so much, man. From what I've heard of the podcast so far, it's really cool.
Oh, thank you.
I'm honored to be on.
Whereabouts in the world are you?
So I'm in Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
Yep, been here my whole life. Just a town outside, like on the sort of edge of the Sydney area.
Okay. And we're the middle of summer, so you're the middle of winter right now?
Yeah, sure am. Already sick of it. Yeah, I got some friends over in the US that keep sending me photos of how hot they are. Super jealous.
Well, I live in Vegas, so I'm in the middle of a desert.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But this summer has been like, knock on wood, has just been like just this pissy little summer that's just like not even hot. It's great. We've barely even. Yeah. I think we've had like 4 days that have gone over 110.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to try and convert that to Celsius.
It's
35 something ish.
Yeah, 35, 38 ish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, unfortunately, when this episode comes out, it'll be backwards because winter will be rolling in for me and summer will be rolling in for you. I think this is like episode 20.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
So, and before we begin, I just need to give a big shout out. There's a buddy of mine I met in a Facebook group not too long ago. He's designed and developed this entire like social media based miniature website. It's called thebaselayer.com. And they're not sponsoring the video. I use the site and I really like it. If you guys want to go check it out, I'll link it below. But it's basically your feed is just nothing but miniatures. There's no advertisements, none of that. It's just minis. So, and it's super easy to use. So yeah, go check out the baselayer.com. And with that said, we'll go ahead and just roll into the questions. The first one I always start the show with is, what got you into the hobby in miniature painting?
Yeah. So there's how I got into it the first time, and there's how I got back into it. So
I think we've all been there.
It seems like everyone has their return story. But yeah, for me, like, I think I was in year 4 at school, so I would have been, I don't know, 10. I was on the bus, and there was this guy that, bit of a weirder guy, but he was holding this Gazgul Mini, and I saw it and was like, what is that? And
is that the old metal one?
The old metal Gazgul, yeah. I think it was painted by McVeigh. And he painted it. So, it was probably terrible because when you're kids, you think everything looks great. You look back at it. But, man, it caught me. And then he had the Citadel painting guide with him, and I was just leafing through it going, whoa, what is all this cool stuff? And
which one? The red one or the 40K one?
Yeah. Good question. I think I rebought it and have it here somewhere. It's red. It's got a red border.
That one.
Yeah. The Eavy Metal one. Yeah, that's it. Oh man. Yeah. So I think that caught me straight away. And then it was, find the local hobby store, visit there. I think my mum used to drop me off there and just leave me there for a few hours and come back.
Yeah, so did mine.
Yeah. Joining in games. I think at one point the owner was talking to the other. It was like a man and woman, and I sort of overheard him talking to her, saying, "This kid's always here. He's not going to buy anything." So eventually, I started convincing my mum to give me a bit more money to buy a few miniatures and that. So,
Mom, he's going to kick me out if I don't buy something.
Yeah. I'm going to get free childcare unless we buy a few miniatures. So. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Gaz, that must have been the first miniature I got, and then I got the Citadel. I got this in the cabinet behind me, the Citadel startup paint set and the brush and that. So had to go paint him up. I'm pretty sure I tried to enter him in a competition down there and was sorely disappointed. But yeah, I mean, that was before no one showed me how to paint or anything. I sort of looked at the painting guide and thought, oh yeah, okay, you just put paint on and then it looks great.
With your standard brush.
Yeah. And then I look back at it. Why doesn't mine look like that? No.
I remember one of my first box sets was the what gets you into the game anyway is the old Ultramarine Assault Squad.
Yeah.
And looking at those, it's like, oh, I could do that. That's easy to do. And looking at the transfer sheets, oh wait, they include the checkerboard in the transfer sheet. No, the skull. I don't draw the skull. Oh, it was not.
It's
pretty.
so easy.
It was not pretty.
Yeah. So like I've been thinking back, before I came on the podcast today, I've been thinking back to what I don't remember which order I got some of the miniatures, but even just when you said then, it reminded me like, yeah, I think I had the Ultramarine Combat Squad. It was like 5 of them. My brother got the Chaos Squad, so it would have been like 97, sort of before 3rd edition, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I'm not 100% sure when 3rd edition came in.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I think I got into it right when 2nd edition came out.
Okay, yeah, so maybe a little bit earlier. That would have been 93 or 94 or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. And yeah, so I remember building a few of those guys and just, I'd paint them blue and go, they're blue like in the picture, but they don't look good like in the picture. So yeah, 20 years later, I learned you had to do a whole heap of extra steps that don't look like much until they all come together.
And you said you kind of left for a while and then got back into it again.
Yeah. So I think like,
but I'm assuming when you got back into it, your mom didn't have to drop you off at the shop anymore.
No. Yeah, finally got my own car. I still wouldn't mind a lift. No, like, so I think like a lot of people, I sort of, I don't know, grew out of it, went through the teenage years a little bit like, I don't want to do this, but I always had that soft spot there. So I think even when I was like, I got into skating and that sort of thing before I had a car, and there was the hobby shop that I used to go to moved to near the skate park. So me and my friends would still sort of pop in there and look at how things were going. And I think the whole time I was out of the hobby, to say, I always had this like thing where I really wanted a Dark Angels army, like that. I just loved the sort of green, and I saw some what they call veterans, like when they got the cloaks over the armor.
Yeah.
I thought, man, that's cool, and it just stuck with me. I think the owner of the store had a Dark Angels army, which is why they had like a whole heap of them there in the display cabinet. So I'd go and check in on those, and it was always sort of there. And then I got into my 20s and totally forgot about it. And then around, was it COVID time, when everybody started getting back into the hobby a bit more, a good mate of mine, Dan's Hobby Time on Instagram, he for my birthday was like, here's the half of a Dark Vengeance box set that is
nice.
A Dark Angels army. I was like, whoa, man, what a gift. And so like, once I had the miniatures, that was it. I was like, okay, I better learn how to paint them, and just started watching heaps of video tutorials, everything I could watch. And started painting again. And then that's when I started in the nostalgia train, sort of, I started painting a few of the Dark Angels Marines and went, there's something different about this that is missing. And I bought a Gazgul from eBay, and when I held it in my hand, that was it. I'm like, I'm back. I remember the weight of the metal in my hand sent me back to my childhood. And then I've been buying every miniature that I had or wanted to have and didn't have the money to get for the last few years, and trying to paint them up just like the box. So. Yeah.
Oh, like funny thing, I think in the last episode, I was guy I had on some lengthiness, I think his name is. Guy was super funny, but like him and I were, he likes Oldhammer and Newhammer stuff, and we were kind of going back and forth. And I said, it's funny, like a full size plastic dreadnought for the Space Marines now, the weight to it is about one metal Space Marine.
Yeah. There's something special about that metal. Like I don't care that it's harder to clean up and chips all the paint off when you drop it. It's worth it.
We were laughing about it. It's like the old standard Space Marine dreadnought, the old metal one, man. You put that thing together and set it on the table. You get mad at your opponent. You just hit him in the head with it, and it just gives him an instant concussion.
Yeah, I've heard people refer to them as just a hand grenade. I've really got to get them just for.
They're just heavy. I mean, the whole thing's solid metal, so it's painting it up, even with sub-assembly or whatever you want to do. It's just it's got some weight to it, and it feels good in your hand.
Got to work on the finger strength. But yeah, I mean, I struggled a little bit just with some of the bigger Tyranids I've been painting in sub-assembly and putting them together. I think the
well, you did that Lictor for Olden Demon, didn't you? Yeah,
I did the Lictor most recently. He's not too heavy, like it's pretty spindly.
No, he's awkward and spiky.
Oh yeah, it's an awkward miniature to paint. And I didn't go sub-assemblies for this one. I don't think.
Oh really?
Sort of put it together. Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, because it's so awkward to assemble that the idea of painting it to that level, putting it together and having to make it all work again was just, it seemed more trouble than it was worth.
I think I would have done the I could see, because the arms are kind of straight out, and the head, the tongue comes kind of straight out, so that the torso isn't too bad. But I remember the things, the hooks that come up over them. I think I would have done those. I would have got those to fit perfect, and then painted those in sub-assembly, clear coated everything, and stuck those things on.
Yeah, they're not really anchored in any way, and I spent so long sort of getting them on, and I did plan for sub-assembly. I then looked at it and thought, I wonder if I can do this without. And what I did is I started from the middle and worked it out, and it actually worked okay. Like I basically just painted it. For the most difficult part to get to is the first bit I painted, and then sort of finished on the extremities, and it seemed to work out pretty well. Yeah,
I remember you were sending me pictures as you were working on it. It was just kind of neat to see it just kind of grow.
Yeah, that's right. I think I ended up doing most of his face first, because all of the limbs and bits were hanging around, getting in the way of his face. So I'm like, I better get that done and cleaned up. Get the eyes done. You can't do those last because there's too many things in the way.
So with you getting back into it, we'll go into the next one. Did you get into Warhammer because of painting or gaming?
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, obviously painting. I think I always had, once you start looking at it and you go to the shop, they sell you on this idea of, you can build an army and you can play this game. And I think I played a couple of campaigns where they basically, the guy that ran the shop set up armies. I think it was Tyranids versus Space Marines a lot of the time. And he ran it more like a dungeon master, like a bit of Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing. Like he's telling the story, because from what I can tell, looking at videos on the old second edition rules, they're a little bit make it up as you go anyway. Open for interpretation.
When you played, was it Blood Angels versus Tyranids or Ultramarines versus Tyranids?
Oh, that's a good question. I remember the Tyranids, and I remember it Space Marines. It may have been Blood Angels, actually. Okay,
because there was a whole campaign in the mid to late 90s where they were running every store all over Europe, and I think some in the US were doing battles. It was the Battle for McCrag, I think, where the Tyranids
actually invaded. That might have been it.
And it was this collective thing of battle reports that were sent back to GW, and GW actually wrote this entire thing in one of the White Dwarfs about it, and the Tyranids could have won.
Yeah, okay.
But I was curious if it was part of that, if it was during that time.
Yeah, I mean, it may have been, because that was, how old would I have been? Probably 97, 98. I don't know if it was around that time.
I want to say it was 97. I'd have to dig through I have the issue where they did the full thing. I have the issue of White Dwarf. I'd have to dig it out.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it. Let me know. But anyway, yeah, that was really cool, and I think I was sort of control a little set of Gene Stealers. And so the gaming side of it did catch me, and I think what motivates the painting a little bit is this idea that you're gonna put an army together and be able to play it. And as a kid, I didn't really differentiate the two. Am I doing this for painting or gaming? It was the whole thing. But then getting back into it, I think it's definitely just the painting side. I did a little bit with my mate Dan, who got me that the Dark Angels army. Mm-hmm. We did Kill Team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to commit the time to putting a whole army together. And doing the 40k thing, and I think Kill Team really suited. So I got the Orc side of the box set, and you got the, what are they called? Krieg. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that was pretty fun. We played a few campaigns in that, but yeah, still mostly painting for me.
I had the owner of the local Warhammer explain to me I don't game. I'll play Space Hulk, I'll play Blood Bowl, and I'll play Tyranid Attack, and that's about it. Just because they're much simpler rules.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about getting in a Kill Team to start playing, And I had the owner of the Warhammer store here in town explaining how to play Kill Team to me. He broke out the rule sheet, and I'm just, same thing happened with 40K. I just glazed over. I'm like, this is not fun. This does not seem fun at all. I can't do what rule? What? Just stop. Back up 3 rules.
If I didn't have it explained to me as I was going, I don't think I could. And there's so many layers. Like I sort of expected it to be like, okay, you do this stuff. It's like, no. Now you've got this extra operation thing.
Yeah.
And it's so deep that it does lose me. I ended up buying Space Hulk 4th edition, the most recent Space.
Oh yeah, the fourth was the same as 3rd edition. They just changed the font.
Yeah,
box.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think I've got 3 or 4, whichever one it is. Got it secondhand. With dreams of painting every Terminator and every Gene Stealer in there, and I've painted none so far, but it's there. But I got that so that I could actually try out playing it. I just haven't gotten around.
Oh, Space Hulk is easy. It's you play one game and you know all the rules. There's no like sub rules or like
that suits me.
Minutia to it. It's a handful of dice at most for like everything on the board, and I haven't looked at the dice for 3rd and 4th edition, but for 2nd edition for shooting it was 3 dice. That was it, and the dice had pictures on them.
I watched a couple of videos of how to play it, and I was like, this seems good. And then I got caught up with I should paint it first, and then I'll enjoy it more. And so I won't play it at all.
I for my 2nd edition Space Hulk, that was the one I grew up playing. I just gave all the Gene Stealers to my painting bestie. I took all the Terminators. We painted everything up like in like a week or 2, and then we had a board full of painted miniatures.
Yeah, man.
And I still got those Blood Angels. They're so bad. Not more so not so much the paint job, just the miniatures were just, those plastic Termies were terrible in 2nd edition.
Oh yeah,
second edition Space Hulk.
My brother-in-law had, I think, 2nd edition.
I mean, they were better than 1st edition, but they were still pretty bad.
Yeah, very soft edges. I was actually thinking about Space Crusade as well.
I've actually got that sitting in my storage room right now.
Oh man, yeah, I've got just the Dreadnought from that because.
I've got Advanced Space Crusade. I don't have the first. I don't have regular Space Crusade.
Yeah, no, the old Space Crusade with the very dodgy looking miniatures. Apart from that one Dreadnought really tickled my fancy, and I bet my mate place just.
I never understood why GW and Milton Briley didn't bring that to the U.S. because we got Hero Quest here.
Oh, right. Okay.
Space Crusade was just the 40K version of Hero Quest.
Yeah. That's a shame. I don't know. It's pretty cool from what I can tell. I mean, I just like the miniatures. It's like most of the things. I don't think my mate that had it, I don't think we ever actually played a game of it. I would just look at the miniatures and be like, yeah, cool.
I think that's, I think for those of us in the 90s that got into the game, I think it was kind of different than now because, back then there was nothing like this, like not in an insulting way, but the whole nerd scene, the whole comic book scene, the whole hobby store scene was like still very, very underground and very niche. And like when you discovered 40K, it was like you just discovered this whole alternative universe of something that you've never seen before. And I mean, like I grew up with my first introduction to it. I've said it before. Was I got a copy of the Epic Space Marine and Epic Adeptus Titanicus rule books in a comic book trade. Yeah, and I was just blown away by the artwork. It was all the hand drawn black and white artwork. The pictures of the miniatures on the front and back covers. And I mean, I'd never seen anything like that. I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And you get the miniatures and you see these little guys, like these are so cool. There's nothing like this. And nowadays it's nerd culture and all that stuff is just, it's so mainstream and all over the place. And even 40K, I mean, my gal's kids, they're not into it, but they knew what it was. And I'm like, okay, you're 16 and you're 19. How do you know what this is? That's not fair.
Yeah, it just made its way into the culture over time. I guess people who are into it are having kids and it just spreads out more. Yeah. And it's obviously, having it's got an Amazon Prime show, like what was that called? Secret Level.
Yeah. Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool.
Oh man. I keep trying to show it to everyone that'll watch it. And I don't know if they're just appeasing me and going, yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I'm like,
to me, it was cool because it was actually like the Space Marines for the first time actually moved super fast the way they're supposed to move. They're not big and clunky. They're like moving like Dragon Ball Z Goku versus, Frieza. It was like, whoa.
I think the first time I saw that was the Astartes shorts, on YouTube. The guy that did Astartes, and
I still never watched those.
Oh, dude, yeah, you got to watch them.
I've heard they're absolutely badass.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just a rumor or whatever, but I think GW I think hired that guy eventually to help.
Yeah, he's doing a new series. He did those, I guess, from what I've been told. He did the original ones on his own, and because they got so popular, GW's hired him to do like another series, or another episode, or something of it.
Yeah, and that was like quite a while ago when they launched their Warhammer TV thing. But I heard he had something to do with the secret level one as well. Maybe he had some input on the art direction and how they move and that sort of thing. Because certainly it's very similar style when you see the way they move, and that it's almost like they've taken a bit from the way he animated it.
I think the one that got me on Warhammer TV was the Angels of Death series that was all black, white, and red.
Yeah, I never watched that. I saw
cool.
like the shorts.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, okay. I think I had my Warhammer TV subscription for just the 1 year, because I really wanted that Vindicare Assassin miniature that came with it. I was like, better get this just for that.
They gave you a miniature?
Yeah. The first couple of years you got a miniature for subscribing.
Oh, boo! They didn't give me anything. Yeah. They're like, oh, welcome to Warhammer TV. Have fun.
Oh no, you missed out. Yeah, the first couple of years, I think you had to either sign up for a year up front, or after you'd been signed up for 12 months, then you could select the miniature to send. So,
I've been on there for I think a year and a half now, and I haven't gotten anything from them. But
that's probably at the end of it. Yeah.
To me, like Warhammer TV, like it's frustrating because like they don't. There's really not a lot of content on there.
No, yeah, that's why I dropped it.
The new Kill Lupercal series is really cool, but they're only 15-minute episodes. I was watching it with my painting bestie came over a couple weekends ago when we were watching it, and it was so cool seeing Warlord Titans just walking and doing their thing. And the thing that got me was just like the attention to detail in the animation. When the Warlord Titan was walking, the shields that they wear on their, I don't even know, the upper carapace, when the foot hit the ground, the shields bounced, and like the little chains that are on them bounced. And I'm like, it's like a dream come true. I mean, it's not the Titans I grew up with, but that's so cool.
Yeah. Because the miniatures, like, you can imagine them sort of moving like a toy, but you when you see them in video game cutscenes is all we had for the longest while. Where you go, oh, that's how they're supposed to look when they're moving.
I mean, I lost it when I got the game sucked. It was terrible. It was almost impossible to play. But the original Space Hulk on MS DOS.
Oh yeah,
and the pixel art intro. I was like,
yeah, that's really cool. It's still really cool today.
Thank you. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, no, it is. Like I've gone back and looked at on YouTube at some of the old cutscenes for that. I got a what is it, Deathwing? I got a Deathwing game that I tried to have a go at, and I just couldn't get into it. It's just a bit too
the game is absolutely gorgeous. The music and the sound production is top notch, but just overall, the game is boring. I played it for about an hour.
It looks so good. I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna walk around as a Terminator and feel like a complete boss. And after about 20 minutes, I was done.
Yeah. Now Bolt Gun is amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, I had a blast with that.
Well, even like the original Space Marine, I thought was great.
I think I played a demo of it when it came out way back in the day, and I just couldn't get into it because it was very much made for console, just like the new one is. Yeah. And I never got the hang of the thumbstick thing.
I didn't get it. I don't know if I played it prior, but because I played like Doom 2016, which going back to Space Marine, I realized that like the Doom reboot almost took a lot from.
I still haven't played it. I need to play it.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well,
everybody says it's fantastic. I need to play it. I haven't played it yet. I've watched videos and I'm like,
yeah. But it's like once you get over the hurdle of a different way of playing, because I grew up with like the normal sort of, what do they call them, boomer shooters, like Bolt Gun and the original Doom and that. But yeah, the whole push forward combat where you just got to be aggressive and that's how you stay alive. And so much of Space Marine is that, and it actually makes you feel like, oh yeah, a Space Marine would just be aggressive, move quick, get in there. Yeah. Like it's. Yeah.
Well, one of my best friends, my bandmate, actually, he bought me Space Marine 2 for last year for Christmas on Black Friday. And
Yeah,
I booted it up and tried to play it with a mouse and keyboard, and there's just so many keys you have to use that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
a bit of a weirdo. I'm a PC gamer, but I use a gamepad because I'd rather sit on my couch, have the PC on the TV, and get PC graphics, but use a gamepad because so many games are designed around it.
Well, for me, like the moving and shooting part was fine, but it like so much of the game revolves around like close combat. There's all kinds of extra keys that you got to hit, and I just never got around to remapping all the keys on the keyboard. I was trying to I tried to sort of remap them around the WASD for movement, so that way the keys were within fingers reach, but it just didn't work. And I can't, like I said, I can't do the dual analog thing because I grew up using a mouse and a keyboard for playing first person shooters. So like Dead Space, I have on my Xbox 360. It was a great game. I couldn't get past the 4th level boss because I couldn't get over the controls. And my controller of choice now is one of these bad boys.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, they're pretty good though.
Oh, hey, 8-bit those are awesome.
You can get into it.
But I might try it again one day. I just get really aggravated because I can't use the thumbsticks. I'm just so used to having a mouse and keyboard where and your keyboards move forward, move backwards, left and right strafe, and then your mouse is to actually move you around. Yeah. And it's just...
Yeah, like I used to PC game a bit, like the original Quake, I think I sort of grew up, using the mouse and keyboard.
I played Quake 1 so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. And then, but it's like you said, I moved away from, I sort of had console gaming for a while, got used to gamepads, and by the time I came back to trying keyboard and mouse, all of a sudden... You had to use nearly every key on the keyboard, and like I can't feel where they are. Whereas on a gamepad, it's like it press one of these buttons, and your finger's already on it. You can just do it. And so I never really got over that hurdle. But and anyway, as I say, I like the setup. For me is sitting on a couch and using the gamepad. Man, we really moved topics there, right?
So just to get back on topic again. With your level of painting and all that stuff, I've always been very curious. What paints do you use?
Okay. Maybe unpopularly, I use Citadel.
Okay.
I bought the Citadel paints again once I got back into it, and the main reason was when I was trying to find tutorials of like how do I make things look like that. The most commonly available were Citadel. Like I can get Vallejo in Australia. Nearly every place has Vallejo, both model color and game color, depending on the store you're at. And then sometimes you'll see sets of other brands, but you can't just go and grab a paint. Whereas Citadel's so easy to get, and a lot of tutorials just said, that use these paints, and they were in the Citadel colors. And I tried, looking up a few charts because everyone said no, Vallejo's better. I just get Vallejo. So.
It's not better; it's just different. Vallejo is more along the lines of like of the old Citadel paints from like the 90s and 2000s. Yeah,
I've got some of those, and they're good too. And so I just started painting with Citadel, and that's how I learned how to paint. And like I think what I've seen from I bought a few other brands and tried them out, and it seems like paint ranges have their best colors and have other ones that aren't as good, but you can work around any of it, and any downside can be something you can take advantage of, like the lower pigmentation or more transparent paints are easier to blend with. And so I've just sort of worked out how to make the Citadel ones work, and haven't had a big reason to change. The biggest change for me was getting decent brushes. I think when I started back, I had some older synthetic brushes that I tried to use. I got some newer synthetic brushes and had the hook tip thing a lot, which you can make use of. Like it I still use them from time to time. But I think I was watching a Goblin Green. He had a tutorial on how he did one of his miniatures, and he said I use a Winsor & Newton size 2. It comes to a nice tip, and it has a nice belly to it, and so I got one of those, and they're like crazy expensive to get into Australia. I found one on Amazon. I wasn't sure if it'd be even legit, but it seems good. But then I've used that and haven't gone back. So that was a big thing for me, is having paint actually leave the brush the way I wanted it to, and having it come to a real fine point.
Yeah, I'm still using. Well, I primarily use like Citadel's what used to be called the detail brush. It's now called the small layer brush.
Yep.
I use the hell out of those things, and I've been hooked on Monument Hobbies Pro Synthetic brush. I think it's the number 2. It has the little hook tip thing on it, but it doesn't really bother me. I've gotten so used to using it.
Yeah, you can tell, like for certain things, the hook is actually it's reliable almost. Like it's always there. So knowing what to expect with the brush is half of it as well. If you get straight hairs, I mean that's more of a problem than having a hook on it really.
No, I'll give that Monument Hobbies brush a lot of credit. Like I beat the hell out of that brush, and it has not fallen apart. Like I don't think I've lost a single bristle out of it.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. But yeah, I need to try some of these like more expensive brands. I tend to go just all or nothing. Like I'll get the cheapest thing and be like, "This is terrible. Give me the most expensive thing." Okay, this is good. Stick with it.
I've thought about trying the Winsor Newton brushes. The thing is, like, I don't want to blow like $40 or $50 on 2 brushes and just to discover I don't like them.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I don't know. You got to do it, man. You got to try them out.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find somebody who has one. Hey, can I borrow that for like a day or so? I just want to test drive it.
Yeah, no worries. I'll just send it to what's postage to the US, probably as much as the brush is worth. Actually, there was an army painter brush I used for detail. Maybe it's here. I had this army painter brush that was my favorite brush. It was this really tiny. I forget what it was called, like insane small or something, and it was great. It still is great, actually. I still whip it out sometimes for detail because it's got such short hairs.
Yeah, like I have a similar one from Monument Hobbies that's just like that. It's an actual sable brush, and it's tiny.
Yeah, it's like hardly any hairs and really short, but actually like super controllable as a result. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not synthetic. But yeah, look, I mean, the first few brushes for quite a while, actually, I bought a set of what are they called? Artis Opus series, in the wood box. And I just trashed them because I didn't really know how to look after them properly. I don't think I ever cleaned them after, like I rinsed them out. But it took till watching a tutorial where someone said, make sure you don't get paint up in the ferrule for me to go, oh, that's why they've gone bad now.
I have a method for getting the paint out. Like I'll kind of bend the bristles a little bit up against the edge of my inside my water cup, and then I'll take it out into my microfiber rags that I paint on, bend the bristles and just, or like a little bit, and just twist and let the water that's in there actually pull all the stuff at the base of the bulb out.
Yeah, I think part of the reason I like the size 2 Winsor & Newton is it's actually long and thick enough that you can get all the paint you want on there, and you don't
not have to worry about it going up into the base.
Yeah, never perfect though, like because I still use contrast paints and stuff for tinting and washes, and probably I should just switch brush for those, but sometimes I'm lazy and I'll put it onto that brush, and those wicks straight up, they'll go straight up there. And then, if I forget and it starts drying, I'm suddenly trying to clean it out as best I can.
Well, my buddy Warheezy gave me a piece of advice when I was trying to learn how to use AK's paints. It was a little later on we were talking about it. He's like, oh yeah, and like every like couple of minutes I'll rinse my brush out and just get more paint on it. And I was like, oh, I haven't tried that yet with those paints, because like Pro Acryl and Vallejo and Citadel for me don't do that, but because AK dries so fast, I was like, oh, that makes sense. So now I've just gotten in the habit of like every couple of minutes, I'll just rinse my brush out to keep like, even if there is paint at the base of the bulb, right by the metal, it'll keep it wet. So like when you actually rinse your brush out, it comes out really easily because you're constantly getting the brush wet again.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing I heard is if you've got the base of it wet still, it's not going to pull the paint up into it. Yeah. But as it starts to dry, the paint can sort of make its way up to fill the space. So do you obviously use a wet palette? Yeah. No,
I use dry palette, but the way I use it is similar to a wet palette.
Okay, so you sort of spread it out on there, and it just
I converted all my Citadels to paint droppers because I can't stand the new bottles.
I should have said that. That is the one thing I did with Citadel. Yeah, is they're all in dropper bottles. I bought a bunch. I think I bought like 60 or 70 dropper bottles off Amazon and some little metal ball bearings, and transferred them all over. Yep. And oh man, so much difference.
I've got guys on like Facebook that argue with me. They're like, "Oh, what'd you convert to the dropper bottles? That's a waste of money and time." I'm like, so I don't have to clean out my paint lid every 5 uses because the modern Citadel pots suck.
Yeah, totally.
Like, no, they're great. They're great. No, the ones in the 90s were great. These are terrible.
Yeah. I started looking at Vallejo for the dropper bottles, not really because I wanted to change paint. I was like, the paint's the paint. I don't know enough to, I'm not even good enough to tell the difference. But when they were drying out, I was like, yeah, I'll try the dropper bottles. But I already had so many by that stage. I'm like, oh, I'll just transfer them over.
Yep.
It's a little bit of a pain occasionally when, I've probably got 4 or 5 there that are still, I haven't transferred because, I buy them and I'm like, I don't have to do it yet. But then, if I'm feeling a bit, just like I want to do something that doesn't take too much brain power and I'm watching something else, I'll just transfer them over.
I keep my Citadel, the Citadel contrast and shade paints. I keep those in their normal pots because those don't get the buildup like the paints do.
Yeah,
and if they do, it's really easy to get out.
Yeah, I transferred the batch that I had of contrast paints at the time and learned quickly after that I don't really use contrast paints on a wet palette anyway. So I didn't need to. I just pull it straight out of the bottle most of the time. If I want to mix it with a bit of water, you can just dip the brush and then mix it on the palette.
My dry palette is it's a piece of glass I've had for like 20 odd years, so I've got like mountains of paint on it. But I'll put a couple of drops, or I'll put out the paint that I want to use, and then I'll take a bunch of water and put it next to it, and actually bring the water over, or grab some paint, pull it from the drop on the palette, move it over, mix some water with it, get it the consistency I want, and then just add water as I go on. So it's kind of the same thing. And dry palettes don't really work here in Vegas. I built one and I snapped the lid on it. It was airtight. Within like a day, the paint had just dried out.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just it's drier than hell in Vegas. So there's no point. And I don't hate on wet palettes. If that's your jam, then absolutely use it. But for me, I couldn't wick on it.
Oh yeah. So I sort of have a bit of paper towel or sometimes just a bit of like an old palette that I'll just twist the brush on and do a bit of that, because you're right, like if you're dragging paint all over the wet palette, it starts getting a bit out of control. Yeah, I can see how both would work. I think once it was when I got back into it, every tutorial I watch is like, use a wet palette. I'm like, I'll use a wet palette, and then I got used to it. It's like what you get used to. But
I tried it for when I was working on that my old demon from 2 years ago down on the bottom of the screen, that wolf guard. I tried it on him because this is when I decided I really didn't like Citadel paint. I painted him using Fenrisian gray. Yep. And I tried like layer glazing with him using Vallejo white, and I discovered that neither one of those colors likes to work with each other as far as layer glazing goes, and that's what got me into. And I was trying a wet palette to try to keep everything moist all the time. And I said the M word. My bad. I was trying to keep the paint moisturized and all that stuff, and it just wasn't working. That's when I discovered Pro Acryl white, which was the same matte white as Citadel used to make, and I was like, okay, I found what I needed and it worked. But I tried a wet palette with him, and I tried it extensively, and I just could not get into it. It was driving me nuts. Yeah. And for me, like personally, I'm not gloating when I say this. I have a really good eye for color. So for me to like mix up another color to use for like, once I get used to mixing a color, if I'm like with my Blood Angels or my Space Wolves, the way I paint them now for the mid-tone highlights on the armor, when I get used to seeing that color that I'm mixing on my palette, I can just recreate it instantly. It may not be 100% perfect, but it's going to be about 95% perfect. I
wonder if that sort of color detection is like people that have perfect pitch. You've got a natural brain that picks up color. I'm worried. Like when I think I messaged you at some point, we were talking about from Rizzy and Gray, and you were saying how there's just these tiny differences. I thought, oh crap, I don't know how to recreate anything.
Well, I spent a good chunk of my career running art departments and working in like vehicle wrap shops. And a lot of the times, like we'd have customers come in asking for color matching, so I got real good at that. And
you tune it.
Yeah. Yep. So my just being able to see color, it's very simple and easy for me, and I'm not gloating at all. It's taken years. Well, I've spent my life as an artist, so that's just a skill I've developed over the period of 43 years.
Yeah, I think when you've done something that long, you don't need to worry about it
Yeah.
being gloating. It's just, if you're good at something and you know it, that's good. Well, yeah, actually, just thinking of colors, though, the one thing that always drove me nuts is the whole goblin green thing. Because for me, the goblin green, actually, the one in the picture in your the logo at the top there, that's the goblin green, right?
Oh, no,
that's the one that I always.
Oh no, there's goblin green up there. My bad. Well,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, so the thing most people don't know about goblin green is that one batch deviated from the next batch.
Yeah, I know. And so I found this out since, and I'm like, in my head, there is a particular goblin green, and everything looks wrong. And then, the more you look into it, the more it's like everyone had their version of what was right. And actually, it's probably whatever level of degradation the printing was of the miniatures I was looking at is the goblin green that I thought was right, not even the one that I.
And that's
the
also
bottle
another
that I
thing
had
with printing, like the printing press, is that like offset presses back then. 100,000 magazines were not run in one batch.
Yeah. So different people are trying color match to whatever.
Yeah,
like
the drums that are
Eavy
on
Metal
there,
guide you've got there.
The drums that were running the magazines, you'd have to load the color to them. They'd pull the color on the drum itself, and as the color, you have to keep adding more color. And then like you're changing backs, you're changing a ream of paper. I don't quite remember how it worked, but I do know like the drums have to be cleaned, and then they also have to be calibrated. So if you're doing calibration between, like, you're doing the first run of 5,000 magazines, and all of a sudden you have to do a calibration again, the print's going to change. So that goblin green that you saw in like the first 5,000 issues of White Dwarf number 151, it's going to be a little different in the next 5,000 copies of 151 because they did calibration right in the middle, or they had to reload inks, or they went home for the day.
Yeah, and it's now been 20 years, and some of those magazines have aged differently to other ones. The papers change color. Yeah.
Well, and also too, like the way the paint was manufactured and mixed. The mixture on the first on a batch of 10,000 bottles might be off from the next 10,000 bottles because they added a little bit more. I think they did it by weight with the pigmentation, but they might have added hype just for simplicity. This batch they added 1.5 pounds of the color. The last batch they added 1.65 by accident.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be a little bit darker than this one.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean the main thing for me as well that I didn't even realize is that they called goblin green over different paint ranges, and the black lid screw top hex lid like that goblin green's that is totally different. Like that, I mean that has its own variation, but it's almost a different color to me. And I think people that really they want the one that was around when they first got into the hobby and whatever they find nostalgic. So for me it was that that hex pot with the white lid there, and other people it might be the first edition one with the cylinders. They were round pots originally, right?
Yeah, with cylinders.
Yeah.
No, I went through. I actually bought up. I bought pretty much every goblin green replica that is out currently, and 2 cent coats was pretty good. I wasn't huge on the formulation of the paint, but I use the AK version, and looking at it side by side with my Blood Bowl orc that I painted for Olden Demon versus miniatures that I have from the old white top hex pots from the 90s in the background there.
Yeah,
it's damn near the same. Like you really can't tell. It's the same color.
Yeah. And like, look, I tried mixing some up once I actually got my hands on some of the original pots. I tried mixing some up myself, and it's not that complex.
I mean, Citadel's Elysian green is pretty close.
Yeah, it is. That's right.
It's a little bit more desaturated, but if you're trying to go for that Oldhammer look where you're highlighting up with a yellow base green, once you start mixing that yellow base green in there, it'll perk it right up. It's going to look exactly like the original stuff. Yeah, it'll be a close approximation.
I bought one. There was one brand that everyone's like, yeah, this is exactly it. Coat d'Arms, and they're like, no, it's exactly the same formulation. And I used it, and it has atrocious coverage. Like, so I was like, the color's great, but I can't use it. Yeah. Because, and then when I actually got the original Goblin Green, like you literally put one coat on a base and it's done. So, I mean, that is the other thing I like about it. I don't know what pigment's in there. It's probably illegal now. And
well, for anyone watching this, eventually when it's released, this is what happens when 2 Oldhammer geeks get together and start talking.
Yeah. Hey, I'm having fun.
Oh, I'm not complaining. This is two old biddies rambling about the good old days. And
Yeah. Maybe we should talk about something new.
The one thing about Goblin Green that I don't understand, people jump on me about, is like the whole obsession with Goblin Green bases. I never liked it. I painted. I've actually got a miniature in my to-do drawer. It's one of my. It's an old Howling Banshee that I painted up as a Space Wolf.
Oh, nice.
And it's it's like one of the one surviving miniatures that still has a Goblin Green base. And I used to dry brush bilious green on there because it wasn't sunburst yellow. It was actually bilious green that they used in the magazines.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's why I never looked right when I used sunburst yellow.
They claim it was, but you look at it, it's a green tint. It's not a yellow tint. So try bilious green if you've got it. There's new colors I can give you that is the same as bilious. But whole point is, I never got the whole Goblin Green base thing. I only did 4 or 5 of them as a kid, and I've always done like the Dark Angels green rim with like and flock with the bilious green base coat, or like a black rim, or my current now terracotta rim with Citadel flock. They're like, oh, it would be way better with a Goblin Green rim. It's like, no. I'm good.
Yeah,
if you like it, you do it.
When I started painting up some of these miniatures to match the old artwork, I do the Goblin Green base, and then I'll paint the rim black because I'm like, no, I want it to look a bit better, because I'm never really happy with just the Goblin Green rim on it. And then I'll go back. So right now, I think all my Tyranids have the full Goblin Green. Something about their really bright colors, and that just looks super retro, and I just love it. But I've got some Orcs and some other old Space Marines that I've just left a black rim and done more like a spotlight sort of thing. And I used Goblin Green as the starter, but it's not really a Goblin Green base. Yeah. But I really like yours as well. The terracotta rim is nice. It's like a chunk of dirt taken out of the game board with the
the whole terracotta thing I got from Tim Prow. Because during Rogue Trader era, Tim did a bunch of his base rims in like a brown color, and I just really liked it. Okay. And I just started. I think in the early 2000s, I started doing terracotta rims, and then the Citadel brought out their flock, and I was like, oh, cool, Citadel flock, I'm gonna use that, and it's just stuck since like 2002.
Yeah. I do like flock bases as well. Like I like sort of putting little. I've got very fine tufts that I put on my bases because it just gives it a little nice sense of scale, which you don't get with just dry brushing it.
Okay, so 2 Oldhammer biddies going on about paints and Goblin Green and stuff like that. I came up with a new question for the show a couple episodes ago, and with what you do you varnish your miniatures, and if so, what do you use?
Great question. I do varnish my miniatures.
Oh, good man.
Unpopularly, maybe, because I've seen a lot of people don't like this. I use matte varnish. It's a Vallejo. Actually, I've got it in a drawer here. I'm gonna.
Oh, you use an airbrush?
No.
Oh, I didn't know they made it in a spray bottle.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really good. The only problem is, I don't know if it's like with all matte varnishes, if you put it on, a bit too thick, it does this thing where in the
white
creases it can get a little white. But you can correct it anyway. You just put it on a little bit more varnish again. But yeah, no, I really like it. Goes on quick, dries quick.
Yeah.
It just makes it easier to photograph, and then I just like the sort of uniform look. I know a lot of people complain that when you use true metallic and you matte varnish, it losing the gloss means it sort of doesn't look quite as nice. But
that's never bothered me.
Yeah, I think too much gloss for me means that whatever lighting you're looking at it in, it gets a bit confusing to the eye. Like you actually can't see what you've done. Whereas, when you matte varnish metallic, you can actually see a bit better. The problem is occasionally you find a lot more problems that you didn't see before, so you varnish it and have to come back and do it again. But yeah. So
I've been using,
but generally just at the end.
I've been using Citadel's Minotaur and varnish. It's not bad.
Yep. I've tried a few like brush on. That's a brush on varnish.
No, it's spray.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it here. I haven't looked closely, but I haven't seen that. Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. Is that matte?
It's they claim it's matte. It's actually satin, but you can make it go matte fairly easily.
Yeah. Okay. I think the original reason I started doing it is that some of the washes I had were so glossy that I couldn't really get consistent finish across the model, and I didn't want to have to sort of paint matte varnish on the whole thing. So as soon as I gave that a go, I'm like, this is great.
No, I'm a little miffed at Citadel because like in the 2000s they came out with a matte varnish, and I don't know who made it for them, but it ruined all my figures because the matte varnish turned yellow.
Oh no!
So all my old competition minis, most of my Space Wolves, my second edition Space Wolves that I painted up, all that stuff, they're all yellowing, and it's just like, thanks, really appreciate it. And when I got the Munin Tauren varnish, it smelled completely different than the original matte stuff. So I'm like, oh, maybe this won't go to hell in like 15 years. Because I used to, when I was a kid, I used Raul Partha's gloss clear coat, and no discoloration, no problems whatsoever. Some of the miniatures I have from a kid when I used it, they still look like the day I shot them. Perfect.
Yeah, cool. I am worried that this, Vallejo one, it's untested. I'll find out. Come back in 10 years and we'll see how you.
With Vallejo, I don't think I'd worry too much about it because Vallejo's been around forever, and their usage base I think is a lot bigger than Citadel. Yeah, more like artists and that. Like scale model builders and all that stuff. Like any scale modeling video I watch, they're usually using a mix of Vallejo and Citadel. So
yeah, that's right. Yep.
And then I watch them. They never water their paints down. I'm like, oh! The paint gets so damn thick.
Yeah. Oh man. I would love. It was something I was thinking about when you asked me about how I got back into the hobby. I would love to be able to see some of the old paint jobs I did, because I think I primed them white with a brush on primer, so it looked bad to start, and then it was straight out of the bottle, and it was with the one brush that I got with the Citadel starter kit, so it was small brush, and I just slap it on, and there was no I try to put the yellow trim on the ultramarine over the blue, and just oh no, I'll have to keep doing it, and it just, I imagine they would have been so caked. But yeah, like all of my miniatures from when I was growing up are gone. I did a big clear out one day in my teen years and never saw them again. I think I had a drawer with some paints that were still good, and I gave them all to my brother-in-law, and then he thought, I'm over this too, and then just chucked it all. They probably all dried out eventually. Yeah, very sad. I wonder if they're yellow. They're in a landfill somewhere, probably.
I've thought about buying that the Nostalgia 94 paints.
I've looked at those.
They're supposed to be like exact replicas of the old white top hex pots. Just to give them a test drive again to see what they're like versus the paints we've got now, because a lot of people, like I watch a lot of modern painters, they'll buy those old Nostalgia paints or like coat to arms stuff that's supposed to replicate the original style of paints that we grew up with, and they have such a hard time with them. Yeah. And to me, I guess because you and I grew up using those paints, like they're not that hard to use. You just got to apply a couple of coats of paint. It's not that difficult.
Plan ahead. Put some white under it and then put the yellow on.
Oh, it blew people's minds when I did that Blood Angel 2 painting tutorial that like they thought I was painting on all the black lining perfectly the first time. I'm like, oh hell no! And they're like, what are you doing?
I actually thought that. Like, wait, when I saw your tutorial, I'm like, oh, he's just covering.
Yeah, it's like they're like, you're painting white to do your highlights with. I'm like, no, just watch the next section. And they're like, why are you painting red over? I was like, because that's how you cover up old like dark colors underneath reds and yellows. They're really thin pigments, even in modern paints. And people are like, oh wow, I've never seen anybody do that. And it's like, how? That was like a normal thing.
Yellow. Yeah, I never even considered it for red until I look back through my Instagram feed and I realize half the stuff I paint's red now.
Yeah,
but I started doing the same thing. If you want it to be bright, you've got to give it a bright undercoat.
Yeah,
often that means covering up mistakes with white first and doing a few more layers. But it probably saves time in the long run anyway. Instead of trying to do 3 or 4 red coats and having the finish still darker, you just do one layer of white and off you go.
I mean, there's like you get into it and you figure out ways, like say if you splash a little bit of black over on a panel, you get good enough, or you get to to a point where you're good enough to where you can actually cover it up without having to undercoat it. But it takes a few thin coats to get it to cover up. Now, doing that on a large black splash onto an armor panel, no, you want to undercoat that thing again. Don't put 7 layers of red over it because they're going to build up real fast.
Yeah, exactly.
So just kind of keeping the conversation going along with the questions in the list, we kind of went over some varnish that you use. We were talking about it before the show with your Lictor that you painted. Do you paint in sub-assembly?
Sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we were discussing before the Lictor. I did not paint in sub-assemblies, and I have in the past. I think there's uses for both. I like sub-assembly because you can really just get at everything. But when I did the Carnifex the year before, the Screaming Killer, I did that in sub-assemblies, had all the arms off. I had the body pretty much together because you could get at everything.
That was, if I remember, the torso, the back of the torso and the mouth were separate pieces, right?
Yeah. So there's like a seam through the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's really like I tried to fix it because it's a metal miniature and none of the casting's right. And I'm pretty sure the one I bought off eBay had like 2 different models that didn't match up. So there was a bit of green stuff to put in between. So so I did all that and I green stuffed up the arms and had it all looking nice and then snapped them off and painted them. But even when I put them on, I wasn't really happy with the attach points. And just when I'm doing those, the old miniatures where I'm really going for perfection, it frustrated me too much to have the paint done and then have to redo it and that sort of thing. So the Lictor was the first one where I kept it all together and was really happy by the time I got through the difficult bits. But probably out of all the miniatures choose to do it on, that's the worst because he is a spindly guy. One of the things I did work out though was how to sort of actually have it on a painting handle. I bought the big Citadel painting handle that I don't know if it's very popular. It's like for doing vehicles and that. And the problem with it is the springs are too weak, so I don't think people use it for it. But with metal miniatures, I just put rubber bands around it that tightens it up. Yeah. And it worked great. So I actually just use that oversized painting handle for.
Oh, I give you credit for being able to, like, I don't use a painting handle, but I give you credit for being able to use one with that. That was, he's a big boy.
Yeah. So he was on a painting handle the whole time. It's a mix of balancing like the base and the painting handle on my hand, but yeah, it took a bit of getting used to.
Yeah, I've tried a painting handle a couple of times, and like to me, it's just weird as hell. Like when I flip it over and want to paint the underside of the miniature, like the handle is kind of in the way. It's just it's strange. So I grew up holding my miniatures to paint them, and then I got into putting a rubber glove on, and now it's just holding a miniature with the rubber glove. And
I think that is the other really good way. Like using the glove means that you've got ultimate control. And I do. I've put a glove on sometimes just because even with a painting handle, like I want to be able to rest my other hand against the back of the part that I'm painting. So
I need to get there's in photography you can get these like little like individual finger rubber, I call them finger condoms. They're like little rubbers that go over your fingers all the way up to like all the way up to where your knuckle is. And I need to get one of those. Or I need to buy a box of those for my ring finger.
Yep.
Because I use like when I'm holding the miniature with my hand, I tend to put that finger on the model to balance my painting hand, and it will build up finger oil. So I need to get some of those finger rubbers so that way I can put one on that finger by itself and actually be able to touch the miniature to balance my finger or to balance my hand.
Yeah, I think I do the same. Thank you. I think those are called finger cots.
Okay.
So I work in medical device manufacturing. And
hang on. I've actually got them on my desktop. Hang on. Amazon. Yeah, latex finger cots.
Yeah. So they use those in manufacturing oftentimes just to put over the top of heat-proof gloves and that sort of thing. You can,
Yeah, I was exposed to those.
Yeah, they're a cool idea. I would like it.
I was exposed to those when I was a kid. I worked at a photography place in the graphic design department, and like back in the photo lab, when the guys like with their 3 main fingers, they'd always have those on their 3 main fingers.
Yeah, it's a bit more comfortable than having the whole glove on that you get sweaty in. You just roll them off and throw new ones on when you're ready.
Yep. Yeah, eventually I'll buy a set of those. I got to start. I've got those 2 RTB-15 Marines, and the Blood Angels I'm working on. They're almost done, and I've got my Primaris Space Wolf I'm doing by request. It was a kit bash, and then I've got to do my Lamardis in August for Las Vegas Open in October. So I think for Lamardis, I might try those finger condom thingy-majiggers out. Finger pots, whatever the hell they're called.
Let's go with that. I mean, that's what they are.
So with you being as old as I am, thankfully, with Oldhammer stuff, who influenced your painting style?
I have to figure out what my painting style is first. I switch back and forth a little bit, but yeah, I mean, all the old. Mike McVeigh and is it Tim Prow? These are names that I've only learned now because at the time I sort of saw pictures of these guys at the beginning of White Dwarf and wasn't even sure if they painted them because they didn't do a good job of crediting anyone at the time.
Oh, no, not yeah.
Yeah, I think I can't remember his name. It's Stu Thomas, I think, painted the original Hive Tyrant. It's like a lesser known.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I've got that issue of White Dwarf.
Yeah. Stuart Thomas. The original Hive Tyrant 2nd edition for me is just like this unique thing. It even stands out among the
I love that model. I think that's the best Hive Tyrant they've ever sculpted.
Yeah, I love the model, but I love the paint job as well. Like I mean, there was 2 paint jobs. I don't even know if he did both of them, but
I think Neil Hodgson did one too.
Okay, yeah. I think there was 2 different people. I'm pretty sure Stu did that one because someone tagged him in the recreation I did, and I messaged him a bit about it, and he confirmed that he did it. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's sick, man. Yeah. He actually said to me, like, I can't believe anyone actually copied this because I always thought it was just too out there and too weird. But there's something about it that, I don't know. It looks like a poisonous flower, which is like a weird.
And you're referring to the one that was on the box art, right?
Yeah.
He's breaking his out. Don't drop him.
Well, I got the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's do both. This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Neil Hodgson did he did the other one, the one with the different head.
Yeah. He's my guy.
I need to get a hold of one of those painted one of these days.
You need the what now? It's not focusing. Well.
No, that's fine.
There he is. You can see the colors.
Don't knock him over, dude. He weighs like 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah. I actually I painted the newer, actually you can sort of see him in the cabinet there, the newer Hive Tyrant, which is also pretty sick as well. But I'm glad that one's plastic because I dropped it once when I went to varnish it. So when I just got into varnishing, I was walking outside with
sucks.
it. Yeah, I'll protect it with varnish and dropped it, and it snapped because like a very fine the plastic. It like snapped the little horn, and I think broke a few other pieces off.
Oh,
and
God.
I left it there for a couple of weeks, just looking at it, going, "Oh, I don't want to fix this," but eventually got motivated because I had to I sort of had to shave down the horn a little bit, attach the bit of plastic that came off, smooth it with some of the plastic glue, and then reblend the red to black over it. It was very sad, but yeah, there was a metal version of that I'm sure if it was metal, it would have just snapped into oblivion. Yeah.
Oh, I've done that a couple of times where like I've dropped the model before I've gone to primer it. Unfortunately, it's been on my stairs, so it was on carpet. But it's like, okay, now I have to go upstairs and get all the cat hair off it. Yeah. There's been a few instances where I I'll glue my miniatures to nails, like the flat top of the nail, and take it outside to varnish it so I can twist it with my fingers. And there's been a few times where like I didn't use enough glue and it dropped off coming up like outside or coming upstairs. I'm like,
oh yeah. I think I'm just trying to think how I dropped this Hive Tyrant. It might have been not gluing it enough to I put like a temporary base on it to paint it, and then terrible. So have you ever dropped a fully painted miniature and damaged it, or have you?
Yeah, like I said, I've taken outside full size miniatures, and I didn't use enough glue, and they snapped off the nail.
Oh right,
And
they were fully
still
painted.
and they were still wet with clear coat.
Oh damn.
Yeah, that was I've only done that about twice, but I mean we're talking about like old metal miniatures here, so like now before when I take them outside, I put a ton of glue on that nail and then spray the bottom of the base with or I'll put a big dab of glue in the base and then spray the tip of the nail with a ton of Instaset and just jam it in there until it's solid.
Yeah. I double side tape mine. I've got some like really over the top double side tape to do the varnishing now from learning the lesson from that. And the only problem is after it's dry is you got to get them off the tape and then clean the tape off the bottom.
Well, 3M, like if you're using 3M VHB, the gray stuff that's meant for cars, that's 5 pounds. Stuff, it's 10 pounds of hold per square inch.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff. Hard to remove.
The funny thing is, I need to pull it off one day. The orc that I did for Olden Demon, the Blood Bowl lineman that I did. I stuck his plinth inside of a display case. I didn't feel like drilling out a hole for the screws. I just stuck them in there with some VHB. I've got 2 little pieces holding them in there. I need to pull it off one day and do it the right way.
Actually, I just realized when I picked up this Hive Tyrant that it's still got some of that double-sided tape underneath.
Oh, you got the black stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff's super gummy. I was using that for a little while with some of my parts before I sent them out, and I had to something happened where I had to remove the tape, and removing that stuff was a nightmare because it's so gummy and it shreds as you're pulling it. Whereas the gray VHB is actually a lot more solid and comes off easier.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's still sticky as hell, but it's easier to get off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I left this one on. I was like, you can't see it. It's underneath. Actually, so back to your question of influences for painting. So that's the old painting style.
Okay.
New painting style. I watched I'm just thinking through for when I got back into painting, how did I, learn how to paint? Because I've done a few newer Space Marines and that. Probably Squidmar. I think some of his older tutorials of, before he, they've got the whole video style now, but some of his earlier videos were just him doing tutorials, and they were really helpful, so, sort of showing basic NMM and how to do lighting and all that sort of stuff. So the Dark Angels I've done, there's basically no panel lining old style. It's sort of just trying to do highlights in the right spot and blending and that sort of thing. So and yeah, look, I mean, there's heaps of modern YouTubers that I could sort of credit for learning that stuff from, but that one stands out as the main tutorial I sort of followed to try and get my more modern painting style going.
I'd love to get Emil and Lucas on here.
I
shot Emil a email a couple of weeks ago, and it said he was still out on holiday. I haven't heard back from him, but I really like their stuff. They're fun. I met both of them when they were here in Vegas at LVO.
Oh, cool.
I
mean, they seem really cool. Yeah, it seems super fun.
Emil's really tall. He's really tall.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
hey, buddy, a few people are really tall in the miniature thing. I think Minis is tall as well, right?
Lucas is about my height. He's about 5'10". I think Emil's like 6'3", 6'4". He's tall. I'm just like,
oh wow.
Hey, buddy, what's going on? Can you hear me up there?
I just thought Lucas was really short, but it's just the other way around.
No, Emil's just really tall.
Yeah. Okay.
So with your favorite painters, we can actually go on kind of influence your painting style. This is a good one that I think you'll get a kick out of. Is how do you think old Games Workshop miniatures compare to new Games Workshop miniatures?
I like them both. Like maybe that's a cop out answer.
No,
like,
there's no wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm not in a camp of like, oh no, only the old school stuff's the best. Like, some of the new dynamic poses are super epic. Like I really like the sort of action poses that some of the characters are in, but at the same time, that makes them like really one note. Like it's like that's the pose in. Like the examples, like the Titus model that they released,
right down
like
there.
Is that him? Yeah, okay. and it's like it's a cool pose, but that's the only thing. Whereas the more neutral poses of the older models, I really like because it's like it's showing you the creature, and then you're imagining like how it's going to move and what it's going to do next. And even the Space Marines, like the little bit of variation in like the posable Space Marines is nice, but yeah. So I don't know. I think there's downsides to everything. The more detail the newer ones have, the more frustrating they get. Like I did this. I'm still getting through the Dark Vengeance army that my mate gave me that got me back into it. Like it's been years, and I'll do one a year now because they just got the main characters have got so many little bits that it's sort of tiring.
So
whereas you can knock
right
out
before your eyesight goes is when you'll finish the whole army of them.
Yeah, right.
The day before your eyesight goes, you finish the last one.
Yeah, but like so a Primaris Marine. If you want to paint that, particularly, the sort of, it's like, I feel like I'm complaining about modern beauty standards or whatever, but like the level that I feel like you have to paint a modern miniature to with NMM and everything, just the whole thing's a massive piece of work.
Yeah.
But older miniatures, particularly in the older style, it's you can go as detailed as you want, but then I don't know, they've just got a nice character. So look, I like both.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer to that question. I'm just always curious, like especially.
What I would say is, I suppose what doesn't, the type I don't like as much is that sort of middle period where I wasn't into Warhammer as much, but then I've got the Dark Vengeance ones, and that's so.
My painting bestie, he gave me like he's staying in his grandma's house right now, taking care of it. There's a whole thing going on with that, but he offloaded all of his old white dwarfs from the 2000s on me, and so I've been looking through those and. Yeah, like the 2000s, like the firstborns and into the 10s, they didn't look good. I get what they were trying to do, but like they got a little weird. And like
I think the Tyrannies that came out after second edition to me would look sort of crap. And now they look really cool again.
Yeah, I think they've really like there's certain factions they've really hit the nail on the head with like. I think the Tyranids look great. Do I want to paint them? Absolutely not. But I can still appreciate them from a distance.
I painted one. I painted that Hive Tyrant, and I'm sort of done.
The one that I adore that they brought back was the Gene Stealer cult. They encompassed what made the Rogue Trader era models just so much fun and great, and whoever I don't know what team sculpted those, but they were spot on. I think Darren Latham had something to do with the sculpting on those, from what I hear. He was a project manager or something, and I mean they just hit the nail on the head for the whole feel of what the old hybrids used to look like in the Rogue Trader era. I think the new squats, I forgot what they're called now, but I think the new squats are I think they're great looking. Like I'd actually want to paint some of those. Yeah, the Voltan, Votan, Zoltan. Leagues of Zoltan. Yeah. But
I haven't picked up any of those either. Because I paint so few miniatures, I like, I want to paint almost one of every old faction, one of every new faction. No, I haven't painted an old Eldar yet, and I haven't painted a new Eldar yet.
I think with the new squats, they really got rid of that cartooniness that the Rogue Trader era ones had, and really made them look like a real thing. Like, I like the technology behind them, or the technology they use. I like their armor; they just look really good. Yeah. The Tau are just always the Tau. They don't really change, but I'll agree that 2000s era during Citadel, dude, like they did some weird stuff.
Yeah. Like the first Necron that they released, like the sort of monopose.
Oh, the new Necrons are great looking. I think those are swell too.
Yeah. So the first Necron looked okay, like a couple, and then they were just weird. I don't know, like they just.
Oh, you remember the original? You remember the old metal, the 3 variation metal Necrons they released? They were so bad.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I liked what they were going for, the whole Terminator vibe. Like, they did Aliens with Tyranid, and
there was something I wanted to comment on with like. The modern miniatures, like I think in a lot of ways they do look really good, but like I remember like when I was starting to get back into this stuff before I started painting, just getting back into it and looking at everybody's miniatures on Reddit and Facebook and stuff like that, I was sitting there like I was like, why are they all posed the same? Like why is everybody's miniatures the same? And then come to find out that there's really only one way you can put them together.
Yeah.
Whereas what you and I grew up with, you know, the torso was separate from the legs, the arms were separate from the body, the head was separate, you know. And so you had,
that's right. Everyone looked a little bit different.
Yeah, you had a lot of customization with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I bought some I don't know if they're second or third edition. I think they're second edition Chaos Marines, because I'm going through and trying to buy every miniature we had, because I think I got the Space Marine box set, my brother got the Chaos ones, and I think I mentioned that earlier. So I rebought, bought a set. I think I ended up with like sort of 10 of the Chaos Marines, and I was I had to chop them apart from, you know, the guy that originally sort of glued them together. And as I was putting them all back together and reposing them, I'm like, man, this is fun. Like, I'm enjoying setting up a little bit of a squad of these guys all pointing in different directions and leaning in a different way and trying to figure out like what are the best legs with the best torsos and that. So
did you get is that the plastic box set, or is it still the metal bodies?
No, plastic.
Okay.
Just like the. I ended up buying. I accidentally bought a later edition set and then got the earlier ones, but not all the way back to the metal. Metal seemed pretty hard to find, or when you do, it's always just the metal, and then you got to try and get the sprues for just the arms and packs, and they're like as expensive again. So I just try to find them assembled.
I've still got I think I've still got most of my old Metal Chaos stuff that I had from the 90s and the arms. I didn't have a ton of it, but like I was for Olden Demon this year, I was debating on painting up one of the old metal Terminators.
Oh yeah, Chaos.
Yeah,
Terminator. Yeah, cool. Yeah, they're pretty sick. They got the big horns, like the tusks. Yeah.
They don't go together very well. Those arms like to interfere with everything on the armor. Yeah.
Something I just remembered though, when you said about the old or new miniatures. So I had the first box set I bought, like the full box set, and it was the Epic version. Now I still haven't figured out which version of it was, but it's the Epic with the really cool artwork. You know, it's like yellow, and it's the dude with the big coat, like the fur coat.
Oh, that was Epic Armageddon. That was third edition.
Epic Armageddon. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Okay. So it had Space Marines and Orcs.
Yeah, and the box art miniatures, the way they were painted, they were Imperial Fists.
Yeah,
that was third edition.
Yeah, cool. So I had that, and they were really cool. And you know, looking back at those sculpts, I think that the vehicles were pretty sick. I think the Marines never looked that sharp. But what I would love is if they would do epic scale but 40K, because I just can't get into the 30K aesthetic.
I like the new epic scale. I think they're interesting, but yeah, like I would love to see them get into 40K with them.
I like the idea of it, and I can see the quality of the epic scale, and they're a bit bigger, so there's a little bit more room to have detail. But I just don't love the 30K power armor really.
Oh, I like beakies, so
you're right. Yeah, well, yeah, I like the helmets.
I think like I don't
the little ball shieldy things that they have on everything.
I think they're I think they're going to have to go to 40K. I was talking to the owner of the Warhammer store locally about it, and you can only have so many battles of Space Marines versus what the Imperial Guard or whatever. You can only have so many. Space Marines versus Space Marines, or Space Marines versus Imperial Guard can only go so far. And to me, like, well, I mean, Epic started out as Horus Heresy. When they first brought it out, it was meant as to take place during the Horus Heresy.
Right.
And then they started bringing the Orcs and the Eldar in and expanded it into 40K territory. So like whatever the current version of Epic's called, I don't remember.
I forget.
It's like Epic went away for a really long time. Like I think it was gone for like almost 20 years, and
I was surprised when I came back to the hobby there was no equivalent of it.
And I mean there was stuff I think you could get from what's the offshoot the brand. I want to say it's not Finecast. Who's the brand, the Games Workshop brand that makes like all the alternate stuff like armor plates and shoulder pads? You know what I'm talking about? It's Forge World. Yeah, I think Forge World was doing some Epic stuff for a little while, and then they stopped. But with the modern Epic scale stuff, it's Games Workshop rebooting and bringing back the game the way it was initially. So I think maybe 5 to 10 years down the line, we're gonna start incorporating Orcs and Eldar, because why not?
Yeah. So that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
But for now, Epic scale, definitely the old stuff.
Yeah. I've got some epic scale stuff I got to do. I want to paint another Warlord Titan. I've only got like 4 of them now, but I want to paint another Warlord, and there's something I got to do up for my gal. I don't care. I'll say it on, like, I'm painting her some of the little orcs. I'm gonna make a little display because this episode will be out by the time I get it done, so I don't care.
No, yeah. That'll actually, you have to get it done by then now.
Yeah. Oh, like I've got all the miniatures and stuff picked out. It's just finding time to do it. But I think after October I'll have a little bit of time.
Yep. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah,
old
school epic stuff is just fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, you mentioned your girl there. We've got a box set of squigs that my wife. She said that she would have a go at painting, so she's painted one squig. I put it on my Instagram. I had to help her with the mouth and that because she just wanted to get a feel for it. But yeah, the idea is that we're going to paint up all those squigs and make a little display because she really likes squigs. So I think that'd be cool. Have all the different colors in there. And that.
Yeah, that's what I my gal's Christmas present last year. The orc at the bottom of the screen. He was part of a diorama that I painted up for her.
Yeah, you were sending me that as you did it. It's really great. Yeah, I love that diorama. I think that's the thing I haven't done yet is a diorama. I probably want to do that at some point.
It's more of a display than a diorama, but it's fun going to her house and like in the bedroom. She's got it on her dresser in her bedroom, and I don't get to see it very often. So I'm like, oh, hey, I remember doing that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think just doing like the cutouts, like to have the bases placed in there and sort of set it up like that. Yeah, that tickles my fancy. Yeah.
I gotta figure out a better way of doing that. Like I need to get a 28 millimeter drill bit. For like wood and actually like putz around with that to see if I can't to figure out a good way of doing that to where I get a nice circle in there and get the proper depth and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think the other way to do it is have 2 bits of, like put a hole in a top layer that you then sort of glue on. So you have
I did that. I did that in the 2000s for like little displays that I made up for the way I paint my bases. I ended up drilling. I forgot how I made the holes so perfect, but I did it somehow. But I drilled through a piece of 1/4-inch foam core, and then put a piece of like thicker cardstock on the bottom.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
And I found out the foam core was too thick, so I ended up in all the holes. I ended up putting upside down slaughter bases in them to make the miniature stand at the right height.
Yeah, nice. Now you can't get extra slaughter bases.
Oh, dude. So my hobby store that I go to, War Room, they buy used stuff from people, and someone sold them 2 complete bags from the 2000s of 28 millimeter slaughter bases and 30 millimeter bases. They were like $10. I was like, ooh, it was a bag of like 50 of each. I'm like,
yeah,
I snagged them real
they'll
fast.
Probably be like, if prices keep going the way they do, they're going to be legal tender soon. You can start using them.
I'm just glad I snagged them because I was starting to run out of slaughter bases.
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years I'd say that.
Running out of slaughter base.
For the new Hammer folks at home who are watching this, us old people back in the 90s and 2000s, with our metal miniatures, we had slaughter bases. They were 25 millimeter bases, and they had a slot in the middle because your metal miniature had a tab off the bottom of the feet that went in the slot, so you could stick them on the base. Mm-hmm. So that's what slaughter bases are.
Yeah. They're actually a real pain because I end up having the green stuff fill in all the gaps anyway. At this point, I should probably just be snapping the tabs off.
Oh, I use the transfer sheets.
Mm-hmm.
I just cut off little pieces of paper and super glue them above the holes.
Yeah, that's probably
because like when I put the flock on there, you can't see it.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
So, moving on with that. So another good one for you is. How do you think that 90s Eavy Metal Grim Bright box art compares to the modern Eavy Metal Grim just modern painting box art?
Yeah. I love the old box art. Like that, I mean, that's basically what got me into the hobby is the all the artwork as well as because I should have said what got me into the hobby as well is the mixture of the actual art and then the pictures of the painted miniatures. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of the most modern ones. Pretty much they're just a battle-ish background with a picture of the painted miniature, right? Which is good because you get to see the miniature and it's sort of got this is how it should look. But man, for me, like the peak is still just a picture of the miniatures on Goblin Green, sort of flock. Like that's my favorite way to look at them. But yeah, I don't know. like my answer with the what isn't the modern or the old ones better. I think there's advantages to the way they show all the stuff now. It's all pretty cohesive, but like I just miss the old branding, like the GW,
the old red and white
old Games Workshop, the red and yellow label. Like it used to stand out in the shopping center. You'd see like, oh, there's a Games Workshop. Yep. Like just grabbed your eye. The current branding for Warhammer of this like inconspicuous black sticker with a thin Warhammer label, like that's the biggest weakness for me with their branding and that. And so the box arts all follow that sort of style where nothing wants to stand out too much or be too offensive to the eyes. But yeah, I don't know. I think bring it back. Maybe that's just because it's nostalgic. Maybe if I saw it now and I didn't know it, I'd be like, oh, what's this?
Well, I think like in a lot of ways stuff. They've gone more toward, like you look at video games and stuff like that, like the more modern hyper realistic games, like the first person shooters that got big, like Counter-Strike and I don't know.
What they call it the brown filter, where like the PS3 era where everything just looked like it was smeared with brown to look realistic.
It just seems like a lot of like the way that the Games Workshop's branded now kind of goes along with that modern video game feel or like Borderlands, all the popular the big. I don't pay a lot of attention to video games, so I can't ramble them all off, but. It seems like a lot of Games Workshop's branding is tying in to what's popular with the younger people with video games now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like that's why Warhammer's grown, is that they're moving along with what's popular. I think there's a bit of a resurgence of brighter colors generally in a lot of this stuff. Like video games now are getting brighter. They're leaning into the fact that it's a video game. You don't need to try and make it look hyper real. You want it to be like somewhere, more enticing than what you see day to day. So as more of those brighter colors and everything go through popular culture games, I'm sure Games Workshop will pivot and start doing the same thing. So maybe we'll see the return of Grim Bright even in the modern stuff.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Oh, the funny thing was I actually emailed. Games Workshop still has their White Dwarf email address on their website and encourages people to send in like emails and actually pictures of their miniatures. So I like my dream since I was a kid to have one of my miniatures in White Dwarf.
Oh yeah, me too.
So I sent him an email today and sent him like 10 different miniatures I've done. I was like, hey, here's my Grim Bright painting style stuff. I don't know if you guys are still doing features on people who paint or if you still feature customers models, but here's a load of mine and
nice.
Take my shot. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean. There's a whole.
It'd be fun because it's like, here's 90s Grim Bright in modern White Dwarf. Yeah,
it'd be cool to see. I mean, but there's so many people that would love that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I'd love to know the perspective of someone that got into Warhammer. Like, it seems like anyone I talk to that's an adult like has this story of having been into Warhammer and now they're into it. When they're a bit older. I'd love to have a chat with someone that just got into it, never even heard of it.
I've got an episode coming out. So 11 just dropped. Hang on, let me go to my folder really quick. I talked to a guy. He's a younger guy. Videos. There we go. Is it Paint is Yummy? Yeah. So Paint is Yummy. I've got a younger guy. He's in his early 20s. He got into it. I think he's been into it about 4 or 5 years. And he does like his Space Marines and stuff. He can actually do exact box art. I mean, the kid's really good.
Okay.
But yeah, it was.
So I'd love to know if he's looking at this kind of stuff, is he just like, this is boring and crap?
He thinks like Oldhammer stuff is actually really interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like, because it's so different than what's out now and what got me into it. He's like, it's so different.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose for me, like even looking at first edition stuff, like because when I got into it, second edition is the modern version that was so much higher quality and that if I saw the older Space Marines, I'd be like, ugh, those are sort of gooey looking sculpts. But now that I'm older, I really like them because you can see the character in that. So.
Well, I think with those like the older sculpts, especially from like second edition, I think the reason why they hold up, just the miniatures themselves hold up so well versus current day, is just their simplicity.
Yeah,
you can still see the Space Marine aesthetic on them, but they're not overly detailed. They're not over the top. They're the thing I've learned about like Grim Bright that works so well is that It's easy for the brain to digest.
Yeah.
And the human brain loves easy to digest things.
Yeah. There just isn't so much noise going on.
Yeah.
And also, the scale, like, we talked about scale creep and that, but like this, the original, that Gazgull that got me into the
my gal saw him. She's like, he's so tiny.
Yeah, that's right. Like, they were smaller, so even when there was a lot of detail on them, it wouldn't take as long to actually paint.
Yeah.
I would love to paint a modern Gazgull, but it's
you got a year's worth of free time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's having them a little bit easier to read, but just being smaller means that there's less time to have to paint it, and so you can.
Oh, I'll send you when we get done with the podcast. I'll send you a picture of it. I took a picture of I got a RTB15 Sergeant model, the helmetless one. I've been waiting for that to pop up on eBay forever, a complete one. And I bought one of him. He's the reason I'm doing the squad of 5 Blood Angels. But I took a picture of him sitting directly next to the Lamardis I'm doing.
Yeah,
dude, Lamardis is huge.
Yeah, okay.
And dude's not even standing straight up.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, you talk about scale creep. Yeah, it's like I look at Oldhammer miniatures versus new ones, and I'm like, they're so small. And like I pick up a modern Primaris to paint, and I'm like, I've got so much room on here. This is nuts. This thing's giant.
Yeah, it's like trying to get through a vehicle now, just doing one marine, and that's why a lot of YouTube tutorials are about how to get your miniatures painted quickly, because I think as it's gotten bigger and more detailed, it's also like you got to change the way you paint to be able to get through and do armies and that. So, and like, yeah, I mean, I pretty much post everything on Instagram that I've painted. So I haven't painted a lot of miniatures. There's guys that do whole armies, and I don't even know how they have the patience and time to do it.
Oh, I got a bug up my butt the other night. I was like, maybe I want to paint up a new a new Warlord Titan. So I was poking around on Games Workshop's website looking for like how much they are and stuff like that. To put together the particular Titan I want, it's going to cost me almost like $200 because the weapons I want to make a Deathbringer Warlord. The weapons for that are not in the box, so I have to buy two. I have to buy 2 Gatling guns and 2 missile launchers, and then a tertiary weapon, which is another it's like 15. I think they're like $15 to $20 a pack. So there's $50 to $60 there. The Titan was $110, but the whole point is just looking at the sheer amount of detail in that Titan. I'm like,
yeah.
Do I want to do that? That's a lot of
detail.
The
money cost, and then there's the time cost.
What's that?
There's the money cost.
Oh, yeah.
And then the time cost, yeah.
Compared to like the old, we were talking about 1st and 2nd edition Epic, compared to the original plastic Warlord Titans, it's like, I got 3 of those things sitting around unfinished. I think I'm just going to go paint an old one.
Yeah.
Those are at least fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that being said, a question that I started incorporating into the show is, what advice would you give to painters just starting out to help them avoid the pitfalls that you've experienced?
Well, yeah, that's a big question. I suppose for me, getting back into the hobby, I didn't have too many bad pitfalls where I felt like my time was wasted. I think not jumping into having to get the best gear right away is fine. You know what I mean? Like, get some cheap brushes and some worse paint and just actually paint some miniatures, and then progress with buying better gear as you see the need for it, because then you actually appreciate the difference of what you're getting. So, I've sort of progressively, started with cheaper stuff, saw the problems with it, worked around it, and then bought better stuff. So I don't think like there's too much wasted time in not having the best gear right away. And so don't stress that you have to have all the right stuff and do it the right way, so that you can paint well, because I feel like the biggest limiting factor for people at the beginning is going to be how to make small movements with your hands.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to practice with that sort of stuff first. So I was lucky coming back into painting, because I've been doing micro stuff for a lot of my life, even since I enjoyed painting as a kid. I'm sure I wasn't very good, but again, I don't know because I can't see my old miniatures. But since then, got into electronics and soldering and did manufacturing for a bit with really fine stuff. So I've always had working under a microscope and that sort of thing. So once I came back to painting, I sort of had some of the control, but then just had to work out the art and paint side of things. But yeah, for someone starting out, it's like take your time and just actually paint some miniatures, and don't worry too much if you're not doing it the right way. But I suppose the other thing is, though, I'd say is don't invest everything all at once, because you don't know what you're gonna like, or what you're going to move on from. If you go and buy $1,000 worth of Citadel paints and you go, I hate these paints, or I hate these paint pots, you're going to do what you and I did and have to sit there and transfer them into droppables.
Yeah.
But that's okay too, because you go and do that, and you can work your way around anything. I think that there's so many good tutorials now, and that it's just take 20 minutes to watch a few videos on what some of the issues are.
I'm so jealous.
Jump in.
People have that now.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like, so I had a couple of tips from the store owner when I was a kid on how to paint, and I think they finally convinced me to get a rattle can to do my priming instead of using a brush primer. Like, that's the level of stuff that they would tell me about then. But now you can go on and like look in detail on how the absolute best artists in the world use an airbrush to achieve like sort of perfection and that. So it's a totally different thing now. I think that's why, well, maybe people have just always been heaps good, but I feel like the level of painting now is so high.
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. Like, yeah. I just wonder if you took what you and I paint now back to the 90s, people would probably think we're amazing, but now I just feel like I'm a mid painter amongst a sea of people that have got so much going on.
Well, like I've said this numerous times on my show, with like Zumakito. He did a video about just his troubles that he had at a Golden Demon a year or so back. But he was talking about like how long it took him to paint his Golden Demon entry, and I think he said something like 700 to 800 hours. Yeah. And to me, like, I can't even fathom doing that. Like, if I spend like a month on a single mini, I start to get real pissy. Like,
there's no way I have the patience for that. I mean, you've almost got to practice the patience for painting.
Yeah, and
like, actually, that's a good point for new painters. Like, back to the question that you asked, my advice for someone is you actually have to practice even the patience of painting. So your first miniatures are going to look crap because you're not even going to have the patience to take the time it takes to invest in doing some of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some people do, but for me, the first Space Marine I painted when I got back, I wanted in an hour to have it look like a certain way. And then it's like, no, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to paint one bit at a time and get better. And you sort of practice and learn that the patience it takes. But then those guys are going to a different level again, right?
Well, like, honestly, like once I've noticed with my own painting, like when I got back into it was taking me a really long time to do almost everything. And now I'm getting faster at it, but it's because like with how I function, with how my brain works, with the skill set that I've taught myself in my time away from painting for those 12 years. I look for behavior. I watch behavior in paints. I watch behavior in what I do. And I have my system set up now for how I go about painting a Space Wolf, or how I go about painting a Blood Angel, or how I have to really work on it, but how to paint an Ultramarine and stuff like that. But as you go along in painting, if you stick with one thing, you will develop your own systems for it and get faster at it. Let's say your 20th Blood Angel is going to take you half the time that your first one did. Oh yeah. And if you really start paying attention to what you're doing, what paints you're using, like the biggest thing is like figuring out your core set of paints that you're going to use to paint your Blood Angel with. And then you figure out the behavior of the paints, and you figure out like, oh wait, no, maybe this orange is going to work better than this one. Oh wait, this one works totally better than this one. So now you've gone from an hour's worth of highlighting down to 30 minutes worth of highlighting just for the final edge highlight. Yeah.
Like I painted some, I've got like 5 Deathwing Terminators, and I think I painted one of them. I'm pretty sure the first one took me as long as the next 4 combined, just because I was working out how to get the colors I wanted and going back and redoing layers. And then the next one I did, I'd already learned so much that I went, oh, okay, well, instead of doing 5 different coats of things here for nearly the exact same effect, I don't need to go back and do all of that. I just get it right the first time. And then the next 3 I pretty much batch painted and just knocked it out. So,
Yeah, once you get your processes down like that and you figure some stuff out like that, your overall time in painting goes down. But like, with the Zoom Aikido thing, you get 700, 800 hours for, like your display miniature or your diorama or whatever. That's not fun. That's like, I can't imagine pushing myself to do that, but I'm never expecting to win first, second, or third, or even the Slayer sword at Golden Demon. I'm going to Adepticon in 26 with my gal. The only thing I'm hoping for is like all the stuff that I enter, and maybe walk away with a pin or two. I mean, I will lose my stuff if I walk away with a pin from Golden Demon, because it's like, wow, I actually got recognized by someone at Golden Demon for like my silly Grim Bright minis. Like, oh, holy crap! This is my lifetime achievement. I'm good. I don't ever need to go back.
Yeah. Like I think about the idea of entering a Golden Demon and just go, like, I'm a bit of an all or nothing person, so
I say go, dude. I think honestly, I think honestly with what you do for your Oldhammer stuff, like especially for Olden Demon, I think you honestly do really well.
That's really nice, man. Thanks. Yeah. Like all I can see with my own stuff is the issues. So that's really nice for you to say. But yeah, I think if I was going to enter Golden Demon, and I think anyone that sort of grew up looking at the Golden Demon winners and that in White Dwarf, you dream about being able to win that sort of thing. So if I was going to commit to doing it, and I'd have to travel overseas because I don't do Golden Demon.
They don't have a Golden Demon in Australia.
Nah, unfortunately. I think there's a few painting comps around that I was having a look at, but yeah, my point is I'd end up having to put 800 hours into it, and my wife would probably run out of patience, and she's a very patient woman. So the Olden Demon stuff I did, those were a big deal. Like I put a lot of hours into those, leading up to them pretty early, and I'm super stoked with the results. I think I've had 3 sort of commended each time now, and that's been awesome. That'll do me for now. But yeah, it just made me think when you talk about Zoom Aikido, like I know there's guys that they put those amount of hours in, and I can see why they get so frustrated with the opacity of judging.
Yeah.
At those competitions.
I think what happened in 24 was it was since a couple of videos, the judges were not Eavy Metal staff. There was supposedly no Eavy Metal staff judging whatsoever. Stuff.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing something about that.
And I could see how that would cause issues.
Yeah, for sure. But it's not like you think about Olympic athletes doing a race. Like they train and put all the hours in and can get to the top, and the people that win are the ones that are secretly dope. But forgetting that, the ones that train the best and have all the natural talent, they're going to win. But they know they've won when they cross the line. But I can't imagine committing that amount of effort to something and sort of putting it out there and having no idea if it's going to do well because you don't even know what they're judging it on. Yeah. That'd be the biggest thing for me, not to commit that sort of time to it.
Well, when I entered LVO, I didn't think my Ulrich Slayer was going to do well at all. Like I walked up to, I saw the entries from the year prior, plus walking up and seeing what was on the table that was entered that year, and I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to enter. There's a lot of stuff here that just absolutely wrecks me, and it's like the newer painting style, like volumetric lighting, all that non-metallic metallics. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to enter. And I came back on Sunday, and there was a little bronze coin next to my Ulrich Slayer and an intent to buy coin as well. And I was like, holy crap. And I talked to one of the judges, and he's like, the 5 of us judging the smaller scale of miniatures, like all 5 of us were talking about your miniature. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, this old style. I was like, Grim Bright. He's like, okay, yeah, Grim Bright. He's like, you don't see. He's like, we don't see this stuff anymore. He's like, this, like you could, if you entered this in Golden Demon in like the late 90s, early 2000s, you probably would have taken second or first place, not a problem. Yeah. But the level that you painted this guy to, you have really good technical skill, but you're doing a style that is just rarely seen anymore. So it caught a lot of attention. He's like, keep doing this because this looks good. Yeah, and cool. I was really honored that he said that, and I was glad I got to hear a judge's opinion on it. But nice. Sometimes this, what you think, like you're standing up against, what is it, mountains to molehills or something like that. I'm trying to remember the saying, but you never know how you're going to do. And I need to find it if you're interested in watching it. There was last year, 2024, there was a guy in the UK who actually went through, it was a 45-minute video. And it was just him going through all of the display cases of every single entry at Golden Demon, just shooting nice, high quality video footage of every single miniature that was entered. And it was so cool seeing like just the gamut of the entries, because it was from guys who were just starting out all the way up to like Zumakito 700 hours level.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And, you never know how you're going to do. There's a lot of people that I saw come home from Adepticon this year, like all different levels of painting styles that came home with like pins. Like some guys had only been painting for like a year or two. There was a couple guys that wanted with pins for those. And then there's guys that are like you and I, are like even like way above our paid grade that were, but you never know what you're going to achieve. And the funny thing was, like last year I think it was Golden Demon UK, some dude entered in the open competition. He entered like a exact box art painted ultramarine and he took first place.
Yeah. I remember this.
I thought that was cooler than hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was cool. A few people were like, "Oh, it's just like Eavy Metal style." I'm like, "Yeah, that's mad. If it's technically perfect, then it's that should be able to place as well."
And I mean, that caused a huge uproar too. Oh, it's just a box art perfect. Well, obviously there was something great about it.
Yeah, if it looks great, it looks great. But yeah, I mean, that does come down to the competition thing. Weirds me out. I go back and forth because on one hand, I'm like, it's painting. We're supposed to be enjoying it, and everyone's on their own sort of journey of getting better at it. And that maybe that goes back to what advice would I give to someone new to painting? On one hand, I'm like, enter a competition, because for me, it motivated me to sort of think about how I could do better. Finally, got me over the hurdle of committing to doing the best I could with me, so that and then the next time I painted just for fun, all of a sudden I'd actually sort of upskilled. So it's a great motivator. But then on the other hand, I sort of go, if you're getting to the point where you're so invested that if it doesn't do as well, and you're looking at other entries and going, that one's not as good as mine, and mine should have placed better, then it's probably not going to be helpful, because the reality is if you're entering a competition that doesn't have really clear criteria, you can't worry too much about the outcome. So if you're entering competitions for anything more than motivating yourself to get better, you're setting yourself up for a bit of disappointment.
When things that's the thing I like about the like Olden Demon every year. Like there's 3 competitions that I'll do now. Is Olden Demon, whatever Darren Latham comes up with in LVO, and all 3 competitions, like I'm gonna do the best that I can. Yeah, and it's been like every single competition where I do that, I found like as a painter I've grown, and it's like okay, I can actually push hard to a higher standard than I did last time. Am I going to paint every single model like that? No, it's not fun. Am I going to do that for competition? Yeah, because I really want to test myself. I want to do something that like gets me out of my comfort zone, makes me spend 3 weeks to a month on a single miniature, and just see how far I've come. Yeah. So the thing I've enjoyed with doing the Olden Demon entries is motivating me to just do the best paint job I can. Yeah. Take good photos, share it, and then have the miniature that I wanted to have. Like, I haven't really deviated far from the box art. I've tried to maybe do a little bit of box art plus here and there, make changes that I think could look a bit nicer, but just to have the miniature that I was always looking at. And when it gets commended and someone says they think it's cool, I'm like, great, that's really good. But if it didn't, I'd be like, okay, cool. I get to see all the other mad entries that have done well. Yeah. Yeah, the Logan Grimnar I did this year, he was a nightmare. But yeah, I'm just glad. Like I always wanted to do like a competition level Logan Grimnar. I tried painting him the best. Yeah. His original paint job was terrible. I can send you pictures. Like it was from 2002 or 2003 when it first came out. And I was really sloppy with it, and I'm just glad I went through and did it, because it's like I hate the miniature, but I'm glad I have him sitting over there, because it's just like, oh cool, I've got this really nice thing to put on my display shelf. Yeah. So like if you got a trophy or a pin for that, the trophy or pin I don't think has as much value as the actual thing that you painted. So that's why entering competitions is cool, is you end up actually with a really well painted miniature that you have, rather than whatever reward you were looking for in the end. Yeah, it kind of sucks now. They're like LVO, or they originally was in January, and they had to change venues, and the only time of the year they could get it here in town at the new venue was October. So now it's like starting from May all the way through summer, it's just competition season for me, because we've got Olden Demon in June, and then I've got Darren Latham's thing in September, and then I've got LVO in October.
Yeah.
So usually, like, I'm
6 months
usually
of the
3
year
to 4
doing
weeks,
competition painting.
3 to 4 weeks for the competition model, and then a small break, and then right back to it. And I like Darren Latham's thing last year wasn't a competition; it was just a challenge, and that was a blast. But no, I went full ham with that Layman Russ I did, because I really wanted to do a really nice Layman Russ. I've still got the one I did when I was 15, and I was like, I got it done. I was like, whoa, yeah, okay, I've come a long way.
Yeah.
But now I'm dedicating August strictly to painting Lamar days. If I finish them in 2 or 3 weeks, cool. I've got a couple weeks off, and Darren Latham's thing will come out, and then whatever from there. And then October till November, I got to do Christmas presents.
Yeah. You don't want to be painting over Christmas.
No.
I actually, this year I painted the Lictor way too early for Olden Demon, because I was sure that Olden Demon's March. So I started it and had it already, and then by the time I found out it was the end of May,
I remember I was like, why did you do this so early?
Yeah, I'm like, I've already scheduled it, I'm just doing it. He's chill with the rules. I'm sure you don't actually have to do it in the month that it starts. So that was fun though. I had a lot of leftover time, and I said to myself, oh cool, that means I'll be able to refine it heaps. But I'm very much, once I'm done.
Yeah,
I finished it.
I started Grimnar in January, and just worked on bits and pieces here and there, and then finally knuckled down, I think in it's like March or April, I think. Yeah,
you were done pretty early as well.
Yeah.
You were sending me pictures.
I just wanted a break.
I think you might have even been done before the comp officially started, but I definitely was.
Yeah, I was. I think I got him done. I think I got him done in April, because he was well ready to go along. Like, I know it was at least a month before submission was due, which was May 31st.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I held off submitting the pictures for a while. I sort of had them there, and I thought, there's a couple of things I wasn't happy with. Like, there's still, you could go back and make stuff better forever, and then I just thought, nah, just leave it. It's fine.
Oh no! Once he was done, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not touching him again. Okay, so Oldhammer people talking about Oldhammer things and going on about Games Day and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and dive into your Instagram so we can talk about more Oldhammer stuff.
Yeah. A couple of newish things.
Let me pull up my Interact window here. So, since we talked about him so much, here is your... wait a minute. Hang on. There we go. That's what I wanted. Let's talk about your Lictor that you did this year for Olden Demon.
Yeah.
And for the old Hammer, for the new Hammer kids that don't know, this is a full metal model.
Yep, it is one awkward model.
And this is the first Lictor that Games Workshop released.
Yeah. Yeah, awkward to hold, awkward to paint. I think when I was a kid, I saw this model and couldn't even figure out where his face was.
I never got the tentacles sticking out of the top of his mouth.
He's got a big snoot, and the jaw sort of goes around the tentacles and that. And but I always thought it was very cool because the guy that ran the store, I think, used to tell a lot of stories of all the different ways a Lictor can kill you in a violent manner. And there's just so many things shooting out of him at once. Yeah, it's actually funny. For the older models, the Lictor even just standing there looks like it's spring loaded, ready to jump, or it's midway through shooting something out. It looks really active even though it's not moving. So
I just remember my painting bestie, he painted up one of these when we were kids.
Right. And he managed to keep it in one piece when he was painting.
I think he painted it in sub-assembly. Okay. I have no idea what happened to it.
Yeah.
I don't think he does either.
But this one's pretty much box art. There was, like most of the second edition stuff, there's a few different, there's a couple of variants. So I picked the one I like best. There's another variant that for the longest time I thought was a different sculpt, but then once I finally bought one of these and was playing around with it, I'm pretty sure for the different pose in the other ones, they just bent it and reposed it because I was sort of bending it around to.
I'd have to dig out White Dwarf. It was painted around the same time?
Yep.
Was it the same
so
color
I've actually
scheme?
got the journey.
Was it the same color scheme or was it darker?
Darker.
Okay.
I've got the Tyranid Codex that I actually had open to sort of reference while I was painting it.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one of my codexes I can't find.
Oh, right. Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to mine. I'm really ticked off that I can't find it.
Yeah, I had to eBay it because I could never afford the codexes as a kid. Or if
I'm missing my Sisters of Battle Codex. I'm missing the Tyranids Codex, and I'm missing my Ultramarines Codex.
Yeah, damn, that's a few. But that's not many, and then you can have them all.
Well, I found most of the other ones. I've still got my Space Wolves. I found my Angels of Death Codex. I've got my Chaos Codex, and there was one other one that I found. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, the other sculpt, was sort of darker on top, had a bit more sort of pink and purple and stuff, and so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it and send it to me if you can after we get done with the show.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. Yep. So this one here, I think I only changed from the original scheme. I just changed a few things, like the little things shooting out of his body there. I made them pink and green instead of the...
Hold on, it's funny looking at your comments list because all of us follow each other. Like I had some lengthiness. He was on my last episode. I've got Green Mountain Miniatures. She's coming on my next episode. Yeah. I've been wanting to get Matt M. Neil Painter on for a while. He's not big on doing interviews. Giocani, I think I'm talking to him, and then Mud Creek. Unfortunately, he just won't come on. He just doesn't like doing interviews as well. But it's funny how we all have the same. We're all in this same group.
Yeah, it's the echo chamber. There might only be 50 of us, and no one else is looking at them. But that's all right. Hey, we're all friends. But yeah, I mean, anytime you said a guest that you're getting on, I'm like, I think that person's commented on my thing, or I've commented on theirs. Yeah. I'll send you a photo of the
okay. I just clicked off. I hate you in your display. So bad. That is so cool, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when you started painting those Termagants up. You're like, oh god, I don't want to do all these.
Oh, yeah, I know. I did one to do. I think I said to you earlier off stream. You paint one to get the scheme right, and then I'm looking at the rest of them going, okay, this is going to be a lot.
This is going to take a while.
But I was so glad having it done. I think earlier I was saying to you, my Tyranids have got the Goblin Green base on all of them because I just want them to have that full classic look. But look at the bright colors. It makes me happy looking at the
Grim Bright
picture.
is so much fun.
It's so fun.
Grim Bright is where it's at.
So yeah, I mean, next up I've got so there's 3 Olden Demon entries at the back there, and then I don't know. I don't think there's any second edition large Tyranids left to do, so I'll have to come up with something else.
Did you paint the Hive Tyrant up for Olden Demon?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know you did the Carnifex last year, and then you did your Lictor this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did the Hive Tyrant the year before that.
Okay.
Same thing. I think it got commended or whatever. It changes the rule or whatever, but it got a little shout out in the video, which is actually that was the first time. That was my first entry was the Hive Tyrant, and when that sort of showed up in the thing, I was super stoked. But I mean, I think what was most exciting about that was that Stu, the original painter, sort of contacted me on Instagram.
I don't know how David hasn't put you in a finalist yet or placing.
Oh no, no issue for me. Everyone that he's put in the finalists and in the placing, I've just gone, these are ridiculous.
There's been a few that were way up there where I was just like, I think the base killed it for me because it was just so little attention was given to the base. I'm like.
Yeah, there has been a few where they've just gone Goblin Green and nothing else. But, because his rules are a bit... some people don't do any Goblin Green. Some people do only Goblin Green. It's whatever. But the actual miniature is epic. I mean, it's getting to the point now where people are going to start putting them on plinths, and it's just... I could not
believe the level of painting that went into that got finalists and placing this year in Olden Demon. I was like, holy crap. And I saw some of the stuff that was just commended. I'm just like... Wow. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to step my game up that far, but geez, these are good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy to get any mention along with the commended people. Because I mean, look, the stuff I'm doing still just pretty much, box art with some modifications.
Oh, and that's not easy. That is not easy by any feat.
Yeah. But yeah, some of the creativity in other people's stuff is sort of the full second edition collection. I like your display base. That's really cool. Yeah, thanks. That's basically all of the miniatures I.
Oh God, I've never noticed that before. You've got the very first
Necron.
Yeah. Oh God, that model's terrible.
Yeah.
Not your paint job, just the sculpt is so bad. I remember when that was released, I was like, "What is that?"
Oh, totally. So I bought a white dwarf that came with one. Like it was.
That one issue they gave out that miniature for free with it.
So yeah, I painted him up pretty quick. I just did it in metallic and made it look like the box art. But yeah, this whole display for me is just a little nostalgia display, right? And that Vindicar assassin there was just a random model.
Oh yeah, I think I've still got mine.
He's so sick.
I think I've still got all three of them.
Yeah. I didn't even realize there were other sculpts for it, because that was the one that I saw it in a blister pack one day. And
the Vindicator. I have the Calidus. I know the chick. I have her for sure. And then there's the one with the skull head. And then they came out with a fourth one that was like a giant skull head and it was all psychic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a few different assassins, but there was an alternate sculpt for this guy where he's.
There was the one from Rogue Trader, the original one.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah,
because this is the second edition resculpt.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's those. What else we got on here?
And just to show your more modern.
Style
off.
There you go. That's an attempt at the sort of NMM style thing. He's pretty old now. I haven't painted any
He's 2 years
style
old.
stuff for a while. Yeah. Spent some good time on this guy. And Dark Angels, love a bit of Dark Angels.
For those who are watching, do you remember what your formula was for the green armor?
Pretty standard. It would be Dark Angels, green, and I think I mix it with black just to do the shadows, and then Warpstone for the mid-tone, going into what they call it, Sotek green is the brighter, and then just adding what's that? Ice yellow, the Vallejo ice yellow.
Oh, okay. I love that color. I love that color.
So good. So just I think that's the recipe pretty much from one of the early Squidmar videos that he did, and I'm like, works for him, works for me. But as I've learned from doing this stuff, that using the same paints can still look vastly different depending on how much of the mid-tone you use and how much of the shadow. Like you can really get a lot of variation just from the same paints.
I've thought about giving this painting style a try. Just I can't think.
It's a lot of commitment. Like I suppose this is the thing with Space Marines is like every one of those panels was a fair amount of effort, and there's a lot of panels, and trying to figure out where the light's supposed to land. And I don't know how some guys do NMM and they're sure of how it should look. Like I've looked at a bunch of references and just gone, I have no idea how light is supposed to reflect off that shape. Like particularly the underneath the knee pad, like that the sort of shin guard area. I'm still never sure on what's right. So I end up just doing wherever there's a strong reflection in the next piece, I'll do a shadow.
I think it's in a lot of ways it's up to, it's open to interpretation.
Totally. Yeah. For it to read as reflective, there's a point where it does trick your brain a bit. And, I think this was the first one I did where I went, I'm pretty happy with that level. And you can do bounce. Yeah. People do bounce lights and extra, like I've never even tried that sort of stuff yet. We could give it a go. And then, I was really happy with the face of this guy. I think it was the first one where I sort of put a lot of effort into the...
I like the little wisp of white hair on him.
Yeah. So I've got a bit of that going on, so I thought I'd throw it onto him.
No, like if my approach to this, like I'm sure you've seen him. I think his name's Flame On Miniatures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's really insanely good, but like... I've been watching, like his videos always pop up in my feeds both on Facebook and Instagram, and I watch how like he blocks in where he wants to blend the color, and I've yet to still even try that. Like I get the method behind it. I'm like, I'll do it one of these days. I'm sitting there painting and I just do my style. I'm like, oh, I was going to try that a different way this time. Whoops.
Yeah, this was a real concerted effort. Sit down and try and just do a totally different style than what I've been doing previously. But it's enjoyable. It's different focus.
This old guy.
Yeah.
Those sculpts were so bad.
Oh yeah, and this was funnily enough, I don't know if it was just because I had to chop it up from getting it from eBay, but the arms were so close together, it looked like he had no shoulders, like he just skipped arm day or something. And I ended up like putting extra bits of plastic in to widen the shoulders out a bit. But so this for me was the old Night Lords. They painted in the lightning, and as a kid I'm like, that's so cool, I'm going to paint lightning, and never had a good enough brush or enough skill to be able to paint lightning and have it not look like junk. So I was happy to just get this dude and give that a go. And then the it's actually a transfer on his shoulder pad that I sort of painted over.
Oh, okay.
And I tried to get some of the original transfers from that time, and they don't work anymore. They're too old. So I think that's a slightly newer transfer, and then I painted over it just to have a starting point. But yeah, that was pretty cool. My plan is to paint one of these up and give to my brother because he used to have them. So I'll have to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Night Lords are my favorite Chaos chapter. And
I think they're fun.
I painted
my only problem with the newer ones is the sort of, they lean into the bat wings quite a bit in sort of the helmets and that, and I prefer I like the lightning aesthetic a little bit more. So I'll have to try some modern ones where I like modify them to the way I want to get them to look.
Yeah, I think.
The other thing I love on this that you don't see anymore is that bullet chain hanging down. I think that's so cool. Instead of like a proper clip like on the red bolter.
Oh, okay.
On the green one,
I'm sorry.
It's just like it's just like a chain of bullets held together that feeds up into it. I just think it looks so chaos, so good. Just imagine it swinging around.
Yeah, I remember when they brought these things out, like in second edition, when they redid all the chaos. Like, it was like, oh, those things are so badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's like, I will say though, there's something to be said that I do miss about like the Rogue Trader era Chaos Marines. Like how the whole torso was their face.
I really want to get that one that has the face for the torso. I keep looking at it on eBay.
He's just like face with arms and legs.
It's so ridiculous. I want to paint it. I'll have to do it at some point because that's super fun. That sculpt.
I always thought this guy was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm like, so this was the most recent one that, as I was painting it, if you go to the next one, the cape was sort of the try-hard piece for me on this. Yeah, that's what I was really trying to work on, like how reflective cloth works, and I spent probably half the time of the whole figure just.
Oh, this is from Dark Vengeance.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's sort of the bonus figure from the Dark Vengeance box set. I think there was like 2 editions of Dark Vengeance, and then like the later one came with this guy.
I think I have it. There was Terminators in there. There was Marines, and then they were fighting against orcs.
No, it was Chaos. It was Dark Angels versus Chaos.
I'll have to go dig it out. I know I bought a box. It was a 40K box set with Dark Angels. It was like a full game box set with Dark Angels in it. I think it was. I bought it.
It must have been that thing. I don't think there'd been any other.
7 or 8 when I bought it.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was when I was away from the hobby, so this was this box set that my mate had that he sort of hung on to and then gifted me the.
Yeah, that's when they started really going full ham with, they're technically monopose because you can only pose them in one way, but that's when they started really going full ham with the full on sculpts like we have now with the plastics.
Yeah, I had massive detail fatigue at the end of this. Though,
oh, I can imagine.
There is no surface on him that isn't like got little greebly bits and that. So it was actually the cape was my favorite bit just because it was a big open surface to sort of paint on like a canvas, and then everything else was a bit of a struggle. But
was that the same green formula you used on the Intercessor?
Yeah, similar. Although I think I didn't use the. It's not Sotek green. It's the other. It's the really yellowy green. I've forgotten the name. Moot green.
Oh, okay.
That moot green is what I used on the other guy. Whereas this, I don't think I use any moot green because it shifts it yellow. I wanted this to sort of brighten up stay cool. So it's I think I just brightened the mid-tone green up straight with ice yellow, so it took a little bit more blending and mixing, but didn't shift at any of it yellow. So yeah, keeping that cool tone. The other thing I really actually enjoyed picking up painting this one was a white, a different white recipe. So that white sword and the skull on there, I hadn't really used the blues before, so I bought a bunch of sort of different blue Citadel paints and got a bit of a recipe going there that I liked, because I find, you know, black and white are hard colors to do well, because actually they really, you need to go through different blue and teal and that sort of stuff. So really leaned in with the blues on the white for this guy, and then tried to stay warmer tones to the black so that they contrast.
Yeah, I was about to comment on that. Like, it's neat how you actually stayed with kind of like a warmer gray and white on the black highlights.
Yeah, I feel like everyone does black with actually blue, which is probably the way black actually looks. But I wanted this guy to sort of have an almost dirtiness to the black. So the black's very monochrome. Like, it's actually using like, you know, basically grey, but with a slightly warmer types of grey. Like, I think there's like storm vermin fur in there, and then just going up to a plain white through the black. But it's very hard to sell black without adding some of that blue in. So it was a challenge, but I think it works all right because you've got the really blue white to contrast it against. It's sort of warmer.
Yeah, I tend to use like cooler grays to highlight my blacks up with, and it's not mixing any blue in. It's just like the sky gray, and I can't think of the other gray that I use, but I just kind of have like my little step process that I do. I haven't really tried any warmer grays with my stuff, and I haven't really used like the Citadel method where, you know, they highlight up. You know, it's like you base coat with, I don't know what the black's called now, just chaos black, and then your first edge highlight is what is it, rust gray or something. You
end up basically using the Space Wolf colors to do your blacks. Yeah, and that does look good. But I suppose I wanted to try something else with this.
Yeah, it's like rust gray up to Fenrisian gray up to white or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The other thing on this is I was planning on NMM for all the metallics, but I was just done by the end. So I like slap some metallic on there. And
what did you use for your purples on this?
That was a bit of a trial and error. It's essentially I'm just trying to remember the base. It's like a sort of maroon color, and then I used a heap of washes of like a purple wash. I think it's Drucci Violet. And then I actually ended up just getting the darkest purple that I used for the Tyranids. I'm trying to remember the name of that one. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
And we're back. Nagaroth Night.
Okay.
And then I've got Vallejo Royal Purple. So those are the real dark shades. And then pink for the highlights.
Oh, okay.
So that way it ends up, you sort of read it as maroon instead of purple.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, it depends how. But yeah, I think the Dark Angels normally have a sort of burgundy color. So I went a little bit more purple, but then highlighting it with pink to bring it back to the reds.
And I like how my comment's right there. Bro, why are you going to be dropping the hotness like that?
Yeah. You've always got the best comments.
Let's dig down a little bit deeper in here and see what you got. There's your Carnifex. Yeah, there's your eye bibbles that you painted with your microscope.
yeah, that's the one. So all these old Squig models here were sort of when I got into painting eyes. So all of them, the focus was the eyes.
I love those old toothy Squigs. They were so much fun.
But their faces are so human. Like, you know, the new Squigs are great. Like, don't get me wrong, but the sort of the humanity in the old Squigs, they just look like they're in so much pain. Like, kill me! I'm just a head and feet.
I need to buy this box set.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It's some fantasy battle box set. There's one that where's like they have a squig on a stick, and I'm like, I show that to my gal, and she's like, "It's a squig on a steak." I was like, "Yes, it's a squig on a steak." I can't remember the name of it. It's going to jump all the way back to the top. This browser in OBS, like whenever you click off a photo, it jumps all the way back to the top.
Yeah.
I think it's a rule for like all of us Oldhammer people. Like we have to paint and post one of these in our profile.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. This is the guy. My favorite feature of this guy was, again, I got stuck into the eyes, but I also, instead of drilling out the gun barrels, because he didn't drill out gun barrels then, I painted it black and then painted the inside of the rim of the barrel to make it look like there's a hole there. Yeah. I think it sold pretty well.
I painted one when I was a kid, and I was like, screw it, I painted one last year, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I like this guy. I'm gonna give him a shot again. It was the first time I'd ever actually painted wood properly too.
Yeah, that was actually a challenge for me. I didn't really have a wood recipe. I had to sort of figure it out on the fly, and I realized that like what I thought I wanted to paint the wood like made it just looked too sort of muddy and brown. So then I ended up I think I took Rhinox hide and essentially just added bone color to it to brighten it. So it was only really 2 paints. There's no mid-tone really. It's just mixing it as I went.
I ended up I tried that I think they call it slap chop approach. I don't know. I painted the axe shaft black and then highlighted all the way up to like all the veins and stuff up to a really bright gray, and then took thinned down what's it called, one of the few Citadel colors I use, Gorgunta fur.
Oh yeah.
And painted like a couple of washes of that on there. Went through with whatever terracotta I use. No, that's orange. I forgot the name of the terracotta they make, but I mixed it in a bunch of white to it, re-highlighted some of the veins, went back over it with another coat of thinned out magma draw frame to get everything uniform, and then by the hand and the axe head, I mixed in some Black Legion to that to give it some shading, and it came out. I was like, wow, I've actually painted wood right for the first time in my life. This looks great.
Yeah, no, there's a fair amount to it because wood like really has that. It has a lot of depth that when it's wrong, your eye can tell. Like it sort of doesn't read as wood anymore. So yeah, and that was the other thing. I didn't want it to be the same color as the leather. Like so, I had a little leather pouch, and I had to do something else. The other thing I think it might have been the first time I really committed to it was doing the metal axe here, sort of just using a black wash and just doing it in layers until it got heavier towards the bottom, just to give a bit of complexity to it, because I didn't want to do NMM or anything on an old model like that, but I was pretty happy with it, how that worked.
Yeah, there was something else I was going to mention about this little guy, and I forgot what it is because I'm getting tired. It's for those watching, when I do European and Australian guests, I have to do these at like 12 in the morning, 1 in the morning. So it's like approaching 3. So my brain is like, no, bro, you need to like wind down for the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the old monopose Marine. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. That's the guy. So that's
the one I still haven't done one of these yet.
Yeah. Oh, really? You got to do one.
It's in my pile of to do.
Yeah. Okay. Get on it. Yeah. So I originally had him painted on a sprue because I wanted to have him like framed.
Oh, nice.
Painted, but on sprue. I think it might be further down in the feed, but I was like, yeah, bugger this. I'll clip it off. I'll clip it off the frame and do him justice because. I want to do that little spotlight goblin green base, like have the brighter in the middle and go the black at the edges.
Oh, I wanted to mention it earlier, but now that I have a perfect example, for those we were I think we're talking off camera. Like I hate modern rivets because they're so small.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing I friggin' hate about second edition backpacks because of the way that I paint them, the stupid tubes on the side.
Ah, right, yeah.
Because I do panel lining between each tube, and a few of those tubes, like the ridge, doesn't go completely up into the rest of them as an individual piece. The backpacks take me almost as long as it does to paint the whole friggin' body because of how I do the stupid backpacks, and I haven't found a good way to like just go through and blaze through each individual ridge to make it to highlight it and stuff so it doesn't spill over into the recess.
Yeah,
but
I don't think I committed too hard on these. I think I just slapped on some wash and probably did the highlights in lines and called it a day. Although I was very frustrated with the little vent holes at the top, trying to trying to edge highlight the bottom.
Oh yeah, those are fun. I don't even bother doing those. I just darken the holes and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a fun guy to do. I think this is the first one where I tried to do that inner edge lining, like the classic look there. Oh, you know what I did enjoy actually was the yellow on this is the yellow I just used really thin down like scrag brown. It was the first time I'd used brown over yellow, and I just think it worked out so well. Like I've only really used, I think I pretty much used 3 colors on the yellow there, but just dragging scrag brown down into the corners to give it a lot of contrast worked really well.
The one Citadel paint, like I found an equivalent in Pro Acryl, but I don't know if I'm gonna make the switch or not. But like the one Citadel paint I love right now, I can't get rid of is Aerial Yellow.
Oh yeah,
because it's just that nice. It's a nice warm yellow, and it highlights up so easily and so well with Pro Acryl Bright Ivory.
Yeah.
And if you want to shade wash it with like to give it the old Grim Bright second edition look, just thin out some Magma Droth flame and wash it into the recesses, and then go back and undercoat where you're going to put yellow, and then put the Aerial back on it. And that just because the Aerial is a nice warm yellow mixing with Magma Droth flame, which is a nice bright orange, it just
bad.
But the formula you've got going on here, I really dig that. I've wanted to try that, like where you mix in like more of a warmish brown with the yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know where I saw that. It was a tutorial that someone had on YouTube. I wish I could remember, so I could credit them.
And that's repeated. You did the same thing on the pauldrons as the same thing with the Chest Eagle Quilla and the Gun Eagle, right?
Yep. Yeah, all the same. Yeah, that was the thing back then, right? Like it's yellow. I don't even know if the idea of the second edition was that is gold. Like I don't know if it was supposed to be blue and yellow, or if that was them sort of doing it as gold.
I think it was yellow.
Yeah, because
they had gold.
Like gold and blue. Yeah, they did. They did. So I don't know. I really like the yellow.
Well, and the different the different companies of Ultramarines, they had different pauldron trim colors. Because there's one company that has red, there's one company that has white, there's yellow, there's green.
Yeah.
But as far
I
as
think for most of the marketing stuff now, and like, obviously in Space Marine 2, the video game and that, it's all pretty much gold and blue, which looks good. Like it looks great. And it'd be easier to paint now too. Maybe they made the shift to gold because it is just buy a metallic, throw it on there, throw blue. Like they want their poster boy to be easy to paint for people to get into.
Oh, and it's funny how like ever since second edition, Ultramarines are always the poster boys for 40K.
Yeah. Yeah, it works.
Elitist.
I thought they were cool. And then I just got tired of them, and then I was like, ooh, Blood Angels are cooler. Ooh, Dark Angels are even cooler.
Oh, those are from that
yeah, they're
Dark
the Dark
Angel
Angel
set.
Terminators. Yep. Yeah. So they were, like a bit of a faster style because I'm trying to paint 5 of them, but yeah, came up with something that I think.
Oh yeah, that's when Games Workshop got rid of the breather slits on the sides of the helmets.
Yeah. Yep.
That didn't last very long.
Cool.
So I think
a bit of battle damage on these bad boys. I love that that sculpt. Oh, he's just so epic. Just standing there with a massive.
That's one of the few autocannon sculpts where I'm just like, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I just think it's cool. Yep, well into it. Although, he's got about 1 million little swords dangling off him there, which were they're a bit of a pain.
And for those watching, if you can remember, do you remember how you painted the bone in the armor? That's a really cool way.
Another thing that I would do if I was new to painting is actually take notes. The further back you go, scrim feed, the less I'm going to remember. I think this was still at a time when I was using what's that contrast paint for the bone? It's really good.
Snakebite leather?
No, it's just the standard.
Agrax.
Anyway, it's a contrast paint. Okay. I don't want to run off and grab it, but yeah, it's essentially it's a brown contrast. It's called something bone.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish I could remember the name of it. There's so many names. Yeah, so it's actually it's the recipe I used for the bone colors on the on the other guys, because the Terminators are like inverted color, right? Like the Dark Angels are sort of green with a bit of bone, and then the Terminators are bone with a bit of green. So
yeah,
on all the green, it's the same recipe. But look, it's basically all the Citadel bone colors. You just if it's got the word bone in the name or skull, something
going on there.
And then I think your Rhinox hide for the really darkest bits to bring it down to the brown. It's hard to get enough contrast with these without it just getting too dark if you want it to look bright. Because I think the idea of the Deathwing is they're actually sort of like dirty white. It's sort of evolved into being bone color. Like lore-wise, I've heard that it's supposed to be like white armor. And yeah, like you can see the gray on these. I hadn't worked out a gray recipe yet, so it's sort of just chucking anything at the wall. I probably should have had more blue in there or whatever, but I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, you probably like the second edition Deathwings that I painted up. It was like it took me, I think, like 3 months to paint all 5 of them. And it's the old second edition metal models, and unfortunately, those are some of the ones that the Citadel clear coat ruined.
Yeah, I know.
I'll send you some pictures when we get done with the show, but I think you'll dig them. But I did the same thing as you. I did like the bone colored armor, and then anything that was like supposed to be skull based was done in like black, grays, and whites. Because it's just it's a neat way to offset it.
Yeah, it works well. Like, cause obviously every Space Marine has skulls somewhere, so you got to come up with an alternate color if you're using bone elsewhere. And even like this guy's got a little leather pouch thing, and I was like, oh crap, I normally do that in a bone color. Like, what am I supposed to do now? So I came up with something else. I think I ended up using Agrax Earthshade over pretty much white. So
I've got a new tradition that I wrote a new question / tradition that I'm starting for the Instagram portion. I pick what I've got written down is pick your favorite mini you've done and tell me about it.
All right, scroll down to Gazgul because it was the first picture I saw, and it's my there's a few posts of him. If you just keep going a little bit, keep going.
There we go.
Yeah, let's go with that one. Yeah, with Makari. So, yeah, like this is the miniature that got me into the hobby, and I suppose the goal once I started painting was like, I'm going to paint this thing the way I wanted to paint it when I was a kid.
The funny thing is, you're the second guest in a row to pick their old Gazgul.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. It's I cannot figure out what it is about this sculpt because objectively it's just so jank. Like, yeah, I just posted it with the original there.
Yeah.
I'm just how exactly the pictures you talk. Yeah. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's just it feels good in the hand. He looks good on the wall. And this was the first banner I painted too. I ended up sort of finding the old White Dwarf and shrunk down the original banner. Because in the White Dwarf they used to put the unpainted banner. I sort of heard that someone had sketched it up for him and they paint over it. So I basically followed the same method, printed it on cardstock and then painted.
Well, they used to give you color banners.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the next page they'd give you sometimes they'd give you black and white banners.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I found the black and white for this guy and cleaned it up a bit and painted it up. So I think my original post was just him, and then I was like, I better do Makari next to him, and then better do the banners because I wanted it to look all the same. But a cool little story with this is when I posted the first picture of him, the guy that owns the original painted Gazgul messaged me and it was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Like, it's a bit random, but I've actually got the original painted copy of this. And I was a bit like, oh yeah, okay, sure. But I won't say who it is because I don't think he's posted it publicly. But I was like, dude, what's on the back of him? Because there's no pictures of the back.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, and so I ended up, I had to guess what was on the back because I just wanted it to be an exact replica, essentially, of the original. But something obsessive about me wanted it to match the back. And before I finished painting him, I never got a picture of the back of him. But eventually, I saw the back and got to see how my interpretation was a little bit different, but pretty close. And
do you
so like the little.
Do you have the high res photos of what the guy sent you? Because I'd love to see those.
Yeah, I'll ask him if it's all right to share them, but yeah, I'll send them on. They're pretty cool. He's just holding it in his hand.
Well, because you remember Kim Seidenberg's old Space Wolves?
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got high-res shots that he took. He actually still has some of them. He took them out of his case and took high-res shots on his iPhone for me.
Yeah, cool. Nice. Yeah, there's no, like, I mean, the picture I've got of the back is just, Instagram, and he's sort of holding it, but you can, like, it's higher detail than what's in.
Yeah.
Because modern cameras are a lot better. Like,
well, yeah, we never got digital shots of them. We just got stuff in print, so you can only zoom in so far before you start seeing the offset pattern from the offset press.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, even just seeing a real picture of the original, I was like, oh wow, there's some because I've been staring at this thing for half my life. There's some detail about how the blending works in the original paint job that sort of once you compare it to the print, you're like, oh, that's how that works. But yeah, it's very interesting. And gee, did I spend a long time with the microscope trying to get those the little sort of bull head and that on the sword just right, and the little explosion. I'm sure they all have meanings. I think they're supposed to be like glyphs from the orc.
Oh no, those are hand painted.
Codex. Yeah, no, I know they're hand painted, but they all have meaning.
I think Gosgel used to be this small, but I mean back then he was a big miniature.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's still actually it's pretty chunky. Like he's got some heft to him because he's so thick. But yeah, that's my favorite miniature.
Nice. Okay, well, I will go ahead and shut this down for the night. And I just got a DM back from who I was telling you about earlier. I don't want to reveal who it was on the show yet, but
okay, yeah,
he confirmed the 4th. So,
all right,
I got my really big final episode of the season.
Awesome.
But just to close the show out, is there anybody you'd like to give shout outs to?
Yeah. So I have to give a shout out to my mate Dan, who got me back into the hobby, and gave me, his Dark Angels. Like that was just an epic birthday present. So yeah, big shout out to him. I think he's sort of my only real life Warhammer bud. I pretty much just paint on my own, talk to people on the internet, and talk to him about it occasionally. So big shout out there, and yeah, another one for my wife, just for giving me all the time to paint and that. I'll go away for a couple of hours and she'll be looking after the kids, and she just wants to give me hobby time, which is really cool. And then the other shout out to everyone in this hobby is so nice. Like, you post stuff on Instagram and it's just positivity and coolness. So just anyone that's messaged me over these few years and just said that they thought stuff was cool, just makes me happy. Yeah.
And so I've started a new tradition on the show. I'll ask you the question that was left by the previous guest, and you don't have to come up with a question now, but I've come up with a new tradition that I kind of stole from another podcast. I don't care. What question would you like to leave for the next guest that comes on? And the question that was left for you was, what mini is awesome, but you wouldn't paint it?
Yeah, I think it might have been off stream that we talked about it, but or maybe it was the newest Gazgal.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was off stream.
It's so epic, but man, I don't want to spend the time to do it. I had it on the list of things that I want to paint, and I've seen it in real life and compared it. Like, it's just talk about scale creep, but yeah. So that was one epic miniature, and some of the best painters, they've got their rendition of it that just looks so good. Yeah, maybe one day I'll paint it, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get to it.
And like I said, you don't have to come up with a question now. You can just send it to me in DM, and I'll write it down for the next guest.
Okay. I mean,
go ahead.
I can say it. Oh no, man! But then they will know.
No, well, they're not going to know. I'm the next guest is coming on is next week. This episode's not going to be out until like October.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, and maybe someone's already asked it, but I would just ask them what's the one hobby tool that you wouldn't live without? What's the thing that you love more than any other hobby tool?
Hobby tool could you not live without? Cool. I will put that in there.
Sweet.
And I will torture the next person who comes on with it. So thank you, Steve, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, dude. Like I said, when you at the beginning of the show, I've admired what you've done ever since I got back into doing this again, and I'm glad that you and I have become buddies over the last year or so. And it's really awesome to see what you do, and to just take so much influence and inspiration from it. And I know a lot of people really enjoy your miniatures, and it was there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in watching this. So thank you so much for coming on and spending your time with me.
No, mate. Again, thank you for having me on.
You're absolutely welcome.
It's been great having a chat about a lot of Oldhammer stuff that, it's just nice to have.
And there will be many more chats you and I have in the future because we get into some silly stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down for the night. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Here's a couple more videos. I have no idea what's going to be in this little preview list, but until the next episode, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Thanks for watching.